and honoring America and those who protect it with the playing of our national anthem.
Good afternoon and welcome to Ray Fisher Stadium as WCBN Sports presents Game 1 of a doubleheader here on a beautiful Sunday afternoon here in Ann Arbor. I am Eric Littman alongside my partner Owen Swanson as Michigan looks to continue from where they left off in Game 1 of this series where they defeated Northwestern 4-1. So they will have the reliable Tommy Henry on the bump today and will be facing a lineup that has been struggling for Northwestern. Of course, due up this inning will be shortstop Jack Dunn leading things off, followed by second baseman Alex Arrow and DH Sean Gusenberg. As for the rest of the lineup, in the cleanup spot is first baseman Willie Bourbon, center fielder David Dunn's batting fifth, right fielder batting sixth is Ben Dickey. Behind home plate and batting seventh is Michael Troutwine. And playing left field, batting eighth is Leo Kaplan. And batting ninth and rounding off the order is third baseman Charlie Maxwell. So Owen, as I mentioned that Michigan won this last matchup, I'd like to ask you, what do you think Michigan needs to get it done again today?
Well, they got off to a fast start yesterday's game, scoring 3 runs right off the bat in the first inning. I think an early lead is going to be crucial once again, as they have a reliable starter, Tommy Henry, on the mound today. I think getting him an early lead will make it really easy for them to control the game, and if they get out early, I think he'll lock it down for them.
Absolutely. So we are just about ready to get things going as shortstop Jack Dunn for Northwestern is ready to step in the box here. And Tommy Henry steps onto the mound. And the first pitch is a fastball outside taken for a ball, so good patience shown early on by Jack Dunn. First pitch is at 11:58 a.m. Jack Dunn delivers on the second pitch. A similar pitch to the first one. Once again, a fastball up and away. So the count moves to 2-0.
And Henry's command looked a little off just at the very beginnings here. The second pitch a little way outside, but
the 2-0 pitch is taken in there for strike one. Another fastball. So 3 fastballs here to start the game, but finally getting one in the strike zone is Tommy Henry, so now the count moves to 2-1 as he tries to play a little catch-up here. The 2-1 pitch is delivered, taken again, and it's strike 2.
Nice job getting back into the count here by Henry. He gave up a run in the first inning of his last outing at Ohio State, so probably trying to get off to a little bit better start here.
Yeah, absolutely. You want to see him set a strong tone in the beginning of the game, as he has battled back in the count to even it out at 2-2, and the pitch is on its way and grounding to shortstop. And the throw to first is in time, so Jack Dunn is put away for the first out. And you said it, Tommy Henry bouncing back after falling behind 2-0. A good sign so far for the Wolverines.
Yeah, absolutely. No reason to pitch around this Northwestern lineup at all, especially early in this game. Just got to go right after him, and Henry seemed to recognize that and just pipes the strikes into the zone after missing outside the first 2 pitches.
So that was Jack Blumgren as shortstop for Michigan, who made a nice backhanded play for the routine out. As now second baseman Alex Arrow steps into the box for Northwestern. First pitch of the at-bat is way outside as Arrow takes that for a ball.
And Henry facing 2 righties in a row to start this game, and he's missed outside early in the count to both these hitters. Gotta wonder if that's going to be a pattern here for him today.
The 1-0 pitch is a fastball and is blooped out to left field. That'll drop for a base hit. Arrow rounding first, but was thinking he'll just stay there, so a bloop single with 1 out here to get things going for Northwestern. A nice piece of hitting there by Arrow.
And it looked almost like he had gotten Arrow for a second there. He tried to come in and jam him a bit, and kind of did, but just Arrow was able to kind of force it into left field there, and luckily the bloop fell for him.
Yeah, it seemed like it was a pretty nice located pitch for Tommy Henry. Of course, a little unlucky there, as the 3-hole hitter Sean Goosenberg steps into the box with a man on first. The first pitch of the at-bat is driven as shortstop, but it is bobbled by Jack Blumgren. Nonetheless, able to get it to K.O. Thomas at second for the putout, but because he bobbled it, he was not able to turn 2. Nonetheless, there will be 2 outs now with a man on first.
And it looked like that ball wasn't hit particularly hard either, but Blomgren just kind of had some trouble with it as he was ranging to his left and bobbled it on the transfer to K.O. Thomas.
So now is Goosenberg at first base, and the cleanup hitter Bourbon steps into the box with 2 outs now. So Bourbon calls time here, looking to gather himself. The first pitch is a breaking ball that breaks inside. Beautiful location there by Tommy Henry, working the inside zone. So called strike 1 in this at-bat.
Absolutely, and Henry's defense doing him no favors at the moment. We'll see if he just nope, and he checks the run at first.
So Tommy Henry, yeah, throwing over to first there. Trying to keep Goosenberg honest there. The 1-0 pitch is delivered and is taken fastball inside. A little 2 inside as the count is now even at 1-1.
And the runner not taking a very big lead at first, although he seems pretty worried. Henry seems worried about him.
1-1 pitch, a big swing and a miss. The fastball is right there, but nonetheless, Bourbon unable to make contact. So nice aggressive pitch there by Henry. As the count moves to 1-2. The 1-2 pitch is checked by Bourbon, but the ump says he didn't go, so now it's 2-2. Is the fastball a little low and away?
Northwestern's doing a good job making Henry work in this first inning and really prolonging the inning. What could have been a much shorter inning if Blomgren hadn't bobbled the exchange and Michigan could have turned 2. But Northwestern's hitters doing a good job being patient and taking advantage of the opportunity.
So the 2-2 pitch is driven out to right field, but it is a pop-up. And taking care of that one is Lewis in right field, so that'll do it for the top half of the inning. As Michigan lets up 1 runner on base, but nonetheless able to get out of it early. And a good start for Henry.
Absolutely. He saw that bloop, that unfortunate bloop fall for him, and then the defense behind him kind of failed him. So Henry got out of a little bit of a jam there in the first in terms of his defense letting him down. But hopefully he'll settle in here in the second.
So for Michigan, it will be Jordan Wogu who will be leading things off, followed by shortstop Jack Blummer in the 2-hole. In the 3-hole, it will be Dominic Clementi, followed by Miles Lewis, who will be in the cleanup spot today. Batting 5th will be Blake Nelson, followed by Jimmy Kerr, the first baseman, batting 6th. Joe Donovan, who is behind home plate, will be batting 7th. Second baseman, and we know about his defense, how good he is there. K.O. Thomas is batting 8th, and rounding out the order at 9 will be Christian Bullock. As Mike Doherty is on the mound for Northwestern today, as he is warming up right now, as we are waiting to get things going in the bottom half of this first inning.
And some lineup changes for Michigan have happened a little bit recently. This will be Clementi's 4th consecutive start. He's starting in left field today. Previously, he was left out of the lineup for the majority of the season, so good to see him back in there. And Christian Bullock starting in center field today. So he'll be hitting in the 8-hole. Or the 9-hole, rather.
So it was Jordan Wogu stepping into the box, batting .381 and getting on base about 50% of the time this season. Obviously, exactly what you want a leadoff hitter as he takes ball 1 low and away. The second pitch is driven out to second base, and it gets by a diving arrow. So leadoff single here for the Wolverines, exactly what you want to get things going.
Good job getting on there by Wogu. He's patient with that first pitch and just let it sail outside, and the second one kind of ran in a little bit more, and he was able to push it the other way for a single. Exactly the way Michigan wanted to get things started, I'm sure.
So batting second now is Blomgren. The righty-on-righty matchup here, man on first. The first pitch is taken.
And Wogu started to run there. He turned as if he was going to steal, took a few steps, and then ran back to first. Be interesting to see if Michigan decides to stay aggressive on the base paths here in the early goings of this game.
Yeah, we'll see about that. That'll definitely influence the tone for the rest of the game. See if Michigan wants to be aggressive here. The 1-0 pitch from Doherty is fouled away, so that'll even the count here at 1-1.
And Wogu started again towards second there, taking a few hard chops and then returning to first. Gotta wonder if they're just trying to distract the pitcher or kind of mask when he's actually going to go.
So now the count is even at 1-1. Doherty checks the runner at first as Wogu gets back in time, and we talked about the possibility of him maybe stealing here, so they're definitely mindful of that right now with that throw to first.
Absolutely, and the Northwestern's righty starters definitely having to second pitch taken for a ball. Yeah, and Northwestern's righty starter having a hard time being able to keep his eye on Wogu and keep him checked, but they're going to make sure they're paying good attention to him.
So the count now moves to 2-1 after that breaking ball missed a little high. As Doherty, the pitcher, once again eyeing Wogu at first base. And throws back to first as Wogu does get back in time again, but Northwestern definitely concerned about him at first base right now.
And not a particularly big lead from Wogu over there at first, but he has the speed to swipe second no matter what.
The 2-1 pitch is taken low and away, so the count now moves to 3-1. A hitter's count here for Blomgren, and now a chance to maybe do some damage for the Wolverines. The top half of this inning, once again, no outs and a man on first. A 3-1 pitch, and Wogu is running. And a high throw by the catcher, Troutwine. It sails over to the center fielder, Dunn, who gets the baseball, and it will be Wogu easily getting into second.
And that throw from Troutwine wasn't even close. That sailed over his his shortstop's head by about a good foot, and his fielder had absolutely no chance at it.
Yeah, and a risky throw because it was also ball 4. And I wonder if Troutwine realized that because Wogu was guaranteed that base at second, but by throwing that ball and risking of it having sailing over, you can risk him getting an extra base. Luckily for Northwestern, Wogu did not get to third, but you have to consider that in the future. So now is first and second. Swing on the first pitch is Clemente on the second for 1 and on the first. The throw is in time, so a double play on the first pitch. As Wogu advances to third, but it is now 2 outs with Miles Lewis coming up looking to get a run in for the Wolverines, who had first and second with no outs.
And that's the last thing that Michigan wanted there. I mean, really, they were able to advance the runner, but effectively taking themselves out of the inning here with that double play.
Yeah, and on the first pitch, I mean, when you get 2 runners on base with the first 2 at-bats, you're thinking, oh, maybe might be good to take some pitches and run up the pitch count for the starting pitcher, but that was Clemente swinging on the first pitch, and unfortunately for the Wolverines, grounding into that double play as Miles Lewis takes the first ball for a strike. Doherty delivers and is chopped to third, but bobbled by Maxwell. And we'll see if they call that an error as Lewis reaches first and Wogu scores, so it's 1-0 Wolverines. And a little surprising to see a somewhat routine play at third, and he was unable to come up with it.
Yeah, and the defense doing neither team any favors so far nearly going into this game, as both shortstops having trouble holding onto the ball. Well, I believe that was Maxwell, third baseman. But regardless, sometimes this turf I think is tough for visiting teams. I think it's not. Not a lot of Big Ten teams have turf fields that they play on, so that might affect the bounces a little bit, make it harder for visiting fielders.
Yeah, on turf surfaces, it always seems like the ball can bounce a little higher. That ball at third base definitely took a high bounce at Maxwell. As Blake Nelson steps in and they check Lewis at first, he reaches back safely. So Michigan is up 1-0 here with 2 outs and a man on first in the bottom of the first inning. So the first pitch of the at-bat to Nelson. Nelson turned his back as if he thought it was a little inside, but it was called strike 1.
Looked inside to me, that's for sure.
Yeah, maybe really a break-in ball that he didn't think would break in like that. So it was an 0-1 count. And the second pitch of that bat is driven to right field. It'll bounce before the right fielder, Dickey. So another base hit here for the Wolverines as they get another runner in scoring position. It's first and second with 2 outs. Good piece of hitting there by Blake Nelson as Jimmy Kerr, the first baseman, steps up here.
And Nelson did a good job waiting for his pitch. He let that first ball run inside on him and just took the bad call and didn't let it affect the rest of the at-bat. Just waited for the right one that just sailed right over the middle of the plate, and he was able to lace it into right field.
Yeah, great pitch to hit, and he sure didn't miss on that opportunity. As Doherty delivers, and the first pitch is fouled straight back and hits the netting. Move this count to 0-1. So the 0-1 pitch to Kerr is taken away for ball 1, excuse me. The count moves even to 1-1.
And Michigan has to be pleased with the way this inning's gone so far, of course, getting the early lead, and then also just, even if you're not able to plate any more runs here, you're making the starter work so much, it's going to definitely benefit you later on in the game.
The 1-1 pitch is inside and bounces before the catcher, Troutwine, who did a good job of blocking there. but obviously not a pitch that Jimmy Kerr could hit. So he does the right thing and waits on that one. So the count moves to 2-1. So the 2-1 pitch and a big swing and miss by Kerr. Looked like a fastball bit inside.
Yeah, that was one he was just not able to turn on and catch up to.
Yeah, good location there by Doherty, painting the inside part of the plate. And even if he made contact at that pitch, that's likely a jammed hit. So the 2-2 pitch on its way and poked to the second baseman. And taking care of that one is Arrow. So that'll end the inning as Michigan is able to get one run but leave two men stranded there with 2 outs. Nonetheless, ending the first inning with a 1-0 lead.
Absolutely, and just not many ways that inning could have gone any better for the Wolverines besides maybe scoring a few more runs. But just got a good break with that error by the third baseman Maxwell, and really the defense was kind of Northwestern's pitfall. Could have made things even worse for them if Wogu hadn't slid on the steal and could have advanced to third while the player walked behind him.
Yeah, and if you're Michigan, I'm thinking you have to at least be happy that you got the run after grounding to that double play with first and second and no outs.
Absolutely, and you've learned something about Northwestern here, which is that you can definitely run on them, and I think Backus, who likes to be aggressive early in games, especially, will continue to do that.
So Michigan takes the field again as Tommy Henry warms up for a second time around here on the mound, getting ready for the top of the second inning. A really gorgeous day here in Ann Arbor, of course. Friday's game against Northwestern was postponed because it was too cold. It felt like below 35 degrees, and at that point you can't play. You can't play the game. It has to be postponed, and now it's mid-60s, 70s. 2 days later, you're really getting the full Ann Arbor experience in the spring right now.
Yeah, absolutely. If I'm any of these players, I'm absolutely overjoyed that game on Friday got postponed. Playing baseball in the cold can't be any fun, especially when it's that cold. If you get hit by a ball or you take a jammed pitch, it's going to hurt your hands a lot.
So stepping into the box is center fielder David Dunn. He's in the 5th spot of this lineup as he takes strike 1 from Tommy Henry as he continues from where he left off in that first inning. Second pitch from Henry is taken inside for a ball. A little low and inside. Tommy Henry currently posting a 2.59 ERA. So he's definitely been one of Michigan's more reliable starting pitchers this year.
Easily. One of the best for sure. And his last start wasn't necessarily as a swinging strike as the last start he had wasn't necessarily representative of his full potential and how he usually plays. I hope he's trying to get back on track here today.
Yeah, nice pitch there with a 1-1 count. He got him swinging on a breaking ball. The 1-2 pitch is chopped to the third base side, and a nice throw by Blake Nelson gets him out. So it was Nelson who was charging on that ball. It was coming up a little slowly and was able to get the first out pretty easily.
Yeah, that ball was not coming too hard at him, and he had to charge it and get rid of it quickly to make the play, and did a nice job there.
So nice play there by Blake Nelson as Ben Dickey now steps into the box for Northwestern. The first pitch is a little too high and taken for a ball. So Dickey's batting .239 on the year. But Northwestern is hoping he can at least get on base, try to get some things going for them right now. As the second pitch of that bat is high again, so he takes that for another ball. It's 2-0 now. So the 2-0 pitch on its way. And paints the corner on that fastball. It's called for a strike, so good location there by Henry. And Ben Dickey at this point was just waiting for that first called strike. So now the count moves to 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is delivered and fouled back away by Ben Dickey. So now Tommy Henry played a little catch-up, evens the count back to 2-2 after falling behind 2-0.
And Henry is really battling back in some of these counts where he's getting behind early.
Yeah, he seems to have good composure there, even if he's struggling for a few pitches in a row. He's looking like he's able to bounce back pretty well. As the 2-2 pitch is on its way, it's driven to center field. Backing is Bullock, but he's able to get under the ball near the warning track and get the put out. So that'll be two fairly easy outs for Tommy Henry in the top of the second inning.
And Northwestern's making some good contact here.
Yeah.
You know, even though they haven't been finding a lot of open grass, they've hit a few balls hard against Henry, and it'll be something to look for going forward if that hard contact continues, or if he's able to kind of limit it a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a good at bat there by Dickey. He was patient, waiting for his pitch, and he drove the ball pretty well. Unfortunately for him, it was the deepest part of the field. As the first pitch to catcher Michael Troutwine is taken for a strike. So Henry, the windup on the 0-1 pitch, very inside, but swinging at it was Troutwine.
That's a ball I'm
Fouling
sure he
it
wants
back.
Just
Yeah.
not a good decision to swing there, and he really chased it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it seemed like it was coming up on his hands. So that pitch got away from Henry, but fortunately for him, it was Troutwine who was swinging at that. So good for Henry as the count moves to 0-2. As setting up away is Joe Donovan. He hits his spot, but not biting on that one is Troutwine. So the count moves to 1-2.
And he got it where he wanted it, and it looked like everyone in the stadium wanted that pitch, as did Henry, I'm sure, but didn't get the call.
Yeah, definitely a good pitch for an 0-2 count. As Donovan sets him more in the zone, and it's fouled back a fastball right there by Troutwine. So the count will remain at 1-2. So the 1-2 count here. Henry delivers and swinging the dirt was Troutwine. Joe Donovan throwing to first because he had bobbled the baseball. Nonetheless, gets the out and an easy inning for the Wolverines, leaving no men on base for Northwestern. As we leave the top of the second inning with a 1-0 lead still for the Wolverines.
Yeah, much quicker ending there for Henry. A little bit lighter as he starts to settle in. Well, I'm sure he'd like to keep those short innings coming.
Yeah. Yeah, we talked about Northwestern still making good contact though, and definitely something to keep note of.
Yeah, and it's not a problem until it becomes a problem, of course, because it keeps those innings short whenever he's able to induce contact. But I'm sure he'd like to be getting more ground balls than some of those laced flyouts.
So, due up for Michigan in this half of the inning is the bottom third of the order is catcher Joe Donovan, who will be leading off, followed by second baseman Akeo Thomas, and then rounding out the order is Christian Bullock. Of course, Michigan looking to extend that 1-0 lead early on, and we'll see if they keep that aggressive plan of attack in the bottom half of this second inning. We saw Wogu running to second in the top half of that inning.
And Bullock only has started 12 games this year, so one of the slightly less experienced members of this lineup in terms of regular playing time.
As Joe Donovan now steps into the box. The first pitch to Donovan is taken. A nice location for a fastball that he takes for a strike. And working quickly is Doherty, but he misses outside, so the count is 1-1. But yeah, you mentioned there's some guys sitting for Michigan today. You usually see in the lineup like Jesse Franklin, like a Jordan Brewer. As the third pitch of the at-bat is taken for the second strike, it's 1-2.
Yeah, and over the course of a long season, it's impossible to stay hot the whole time. And we saw Jordan Brewer's insanely hot streak kind of start to come to a close. And nice ball lined by Donovan, but caught by the first baseman for an out. And yeah, I guess it's got to be Eric Bakich either going to want to give his guys a rest or just letting people who are hot keep playing. But with the way Michigan's playing as a team on the whole, it's hard to complain.
Right. So that was Donovan, who, like we said, lined to first base. Unfortunately for him, he made good contact on it, but an easy out for Northwestern as Akeo Thomas steps in with one out here in the bottom half of the second inning. So first pitch is taken for a strike. The 0-1 pitch on its way. And Thomas not biting at that one. It's 1-1. And the 1-1 pitch is a fly out to right field. Akeo Thomas got a little under that one, and it is Dickey in right field under that baseball and putting them out for out number 2.
A nice solid contact there by Akeo Thomas. Just didn't quite get enough on it to send it all the way out there, but really good contact. And Michigan's had some nice hard hit balls against Doherty here in the early goings of this game.
Yeah, so 2 hard hit balls for the first 2 outs. But Doherty will take it after he struggled in that first inning, as it is now 2 easy outs for Northwestern to start the bottom half of this inning, as Christian Bullock takes ball 1 in the first pitch of the at-bat. And the second pitch misses outside, so it's quickly 2-0 here.
A nice job staying patient.
So the third pitch misses inside, 3-0. And yeah, you talk about his patience. I mean, at this point, after the first 2 batters of the inning get out quickly, you at least want to run up the pitch count for Doherty as he throws the 3-0 pitch and it hits inside. And it'll count for strike 1. The 3-1 pitch is swung on and fouled past the stands on the left field side, so the count now moves to 3-2 after Doherty fell behind 3-0. Doherty working quickly here as the 3-2 pitch is chopped to first base, and coming first is Doherty, but the first baseman Bourbon not able to get the throw back in time, as beating out the throw was Bullock. So good hustle there to keep the inning alive.
Yeah, and that ball was just chopped a little bit too high, a little bit too slowly for the first baseman, Bourbon, to field it and get to his pitcher fast enough. Good job by Doherty of fielding his position and covering first quickly, but the speedy Bullock beat it out.
Yeah, and that's got to be like one of the toughest types of hits to field, just with the first baseman getting out of his position, having to have the pitcher cover for him. As Wogu steps into the box and they throw over to Bullock, who gets back in time.
And Bullock just put his speed on display there. I can't imagine they're going to forget about him on first.
Yeah, that was a great example of hustle. With 2 outs, he wasn't worried about that possibly being the end of the inning. He was just worried about getting on first, and he did so. So first pitch to Wogu is taken for strike 1.
And a lot of Michigan's base runners so far in the first few innings of this game have come with 2 outs. Good sign by a good team of keep staying in the inning no matter what.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I mean, it's such a luxury to be able, even if you have no men on with 2 outs, and still have the possibility to maybe get some damage, put some runs on the board. As he throws over to first again, and Bullock once again gets back, but Northwestern once again concerned with the speed of this Michigan lineup. And once again, for the third time in this at-bat, throws over to first, and Bullock
Almost got caught there, leaning the wrong way. He started to, as Doherty threw back, he started to kind of head even further towards second and had to readjust and head back to first.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting him to throw again so many times. He's able to get back and is stretching out a little bit after that. But Doherty is keeping him on his toes at first as the count remains at 0-1. And delivering and throwing to second is Troutwine. Bullock was running to second. And Troutwine once again overthrew the ball, and is Bullock reaching third. So to recap,
once again, Bullock, Troutwine completely overthrows the man at second.
So Northwestern, just like last time, was very conscious of the idea that Bullock could be running, and he did after being checked 3 different times. Nonetheless, Troutwine overthrew the baseball when he was running to second, so it is Bullock able to advance to third. So now with 2 outs, Michigan has a man at third as Jordan Wogu has an opportunity to extend this lead. And the 1-1 pitch is a breaking ball that breaks inside and will be a called strike. But yeah, we talked about Michigan being able to put up runs despite having no men on with 2 outs, and this could be a perfect example of that. So the 1-2 pitch on its way and low and inside. Good eye by Wogu, so the count is now even at 2-2.
Good job by Wogu, staying patient and making sure he's not getting jammed on these inside pitches. Just got to look for whatever you can to drive or just lace to the opposite field and bring home the runner from third.
So the 2-2 pitch on its way, and he's able to get it in right field. A little blooper, it seemed like, as he was able to score Bullock. So a nice piece of hitting there by Wogu. A great at-bat, waiting for his pitch. And a bloop single to right field will bring home Bullock, as is now 2-0 Wolverines. And what a great inning for the Wolverines in the bottom half of this second inning, with the first 2 men of the bottom half of the inning being retired quickly. Able to get a man on third and score him with 2 outs. So pretty impressive display by the Wolverines.
Yeah, excellent job playing a little small ball and manufacturing some runs on the steal, then advancing on the error and the bad throw by catcher Troutwine. Just an excellent job of getting to third, and then however you can get home from third, just do it.
So now is Wogu at first, and he's running to second, and the pitch is offline. So Troutwine, the catcher for Northwestern, has been struggling on those throws to second base, and Michigan is just going to take advantage of that as Wogu is running for the second time in the game and gets in safely. So now, once again, with 2 outs, Michigan has a runner in scoring position with Jack Blomgren at the plate and facing a 1-0 count.
Yeah, Michigan smartly taking advantage of Troutwine's arm. That last throw there was high and way too far to the right, as the pitch is taken outside for a ball. And that throw down to the second baseman was just so far offline, he had to dive for it and just absolutely had no chance to tag. And Michigan's going to take advantage of Troutwine as long as they can, I'm sure.
Yeah, and it makes sense for Michigan. Until Troutwine proves that he can make that throw, you may as well keep testing that arm.
Absolutely, especially with the speed this team has.
So the count is 1-1. The delivery to Blomgren as he is not biting at that pitch, and the ump says it's low and away, so it's now 2 balls and 1 strike. Once again with 2 outs and the speedy Wogu at second, so you have to think that a single could score him here.
And the key here is just patience. Michigan's doing a good job, not swinging any bad pitches and rolling over a ball, or not risking any weak contact that could end the inning.
And the 2-1 pitch is chopped weakly to the second baseman, and a good play there by the charging arrow is able to get Northwestern out of this jam in the second inning. So after retiring the first 2 batters from the Wolverines, Northwestern still gives up a run. So after 2 innings, Michigan is up 2-0. And a very impressive display of hitting there by the Michigan offense.
Yeah, with the exception of that last batter there, just really good job of staying patient, waiting for a pitch they can hit, and just keeping the inning alive no matter what. It's impossible to take advantage of mistakes if they can't be made in the first place. And Michigan's doing a good job of letting Northwestern just make those mistakes on the steals, the bad throws to second, and then Jordan Wogo actually capitalizing on that pitch and just driving out to right center field for a single RBI single.
So Michigan's game plan has become pretty clear. They're going to be aggressive on the base path. They were running on the first inning with Wogo. And in the bottom half of that second inning, they ran twice to second base. Troutwine struggling from the catcher position in terms of throwing out those runners at second. So Michigan's going to keep testing Northwestern on the base path.
And Tommy Henry had a nice long time to sit and rest in the dugout there and not worry about anything at all. And really everything going Michigan's way so far.
Yeah, so Tommy Henry with some insurance. An early 2-0 lead here as Leo Kaplan for Northwestern is due up to lead things off here in the 8-hole position. Leo Kaplan is the left fielder for the Wildcats. As he shows bunt and pulls back as the first pitch is a fastball outside, so ball one. Kaplan's struggling this year. He's only batting 169. So he's looking to turn things around this season. The 1-0 is delivered, and a big swing and a miss by Kaplan. So 1-1 now is the count.
And that was one he probably could have laid off.
Yeah, it seemed like he was reaching for that one. The ball seemed a little bit outside. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. The delivery from Henry fouled away towards the Northwestern dugout. So the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. So good command here by Tommy Henry in the top half of this third inning.
And Henry kind of came in there on Kaplan, came in on his hands and forced him to swing, just jammed him.
Yeah, definitely good location on that fastball. As the 1-2 curveball gets a swinging and missing Leo Kaplan, so it is now Tommy Henry who is changing speeds there and getting Kaplan to chase that strike 3 pitch. So 1 out now in the top half of this third inning.
And Henry not wasting any time, ahead in the count, 1-2. He isn't trying to make him chase. He just went right after him with that and changed speeds to get the hitter. Really
so
smart
beautiful curveball there by Tommy Henry to get out Kaplan as Charlie Maxwell steps in, the left-handed hitter who is in the 9 spot today in Northwestern's lineup. And the first pitch is taken for a ball. The 1-0 pitch is another breaking ball, and it looked like it might have been close to painting that inside corner, but the ump didn't think so as the count moves to 2-0.
Yeah, it looked like that must have been high or something because location-wise, horizontally, it looked solid. It kind of ran back over the plate.
And that's one of the toughest pitches to hit in a lefty-lefty matchup, as a 2-0 fastball is driven in the gap in right field, or the corner, fielded by Lewis as he throws to the cutoff man. But it is Maxwell getting in for the 1-out double as that ball was ripped down the right field line.
And Charlie Maxwell getting his first hit of the season. And what a great way to get your first hit of the season, a double off Tommy Henry. Yeah, he really kind of turned on that pitch. It was came inside on the lefty, and he just turned on it and pulled it out to right field, to the right field corner.
Yeah, and it was Tommy Henry trying to change speeds there, going from that breaking ball to that fastball, but it seemed like Maxwell was prepared for that as he now is at second base in scoring position with Jack Dunn in the top of the order up for the Wildcats. The first pitch, he shows bunt, and throwing back to second is Joe Donovan. He thought he had Maxwell with too big of a lead, but Maxwell does get back in time. But they did call a strike on Dunn as he showed bunt.
A smart play by Donovan there, trying to backpick the runner at second. He just taken way too big of a lead, and then, just good way of checking him if nothing else. But I thought he might have even had him there.
Yeah, and sometimes when the batter's showing bunt like that and just trying to get you to advance, you're just so concerned with getting to the next base, you kind of forget about being vulnerable to being thrown out at the base you're already at, as the second pitch of the at-bat is outside, and the count is now 1-1 strike.
And that pitch really got away from Henry, just far outside. Seems like he keeps missing way outside to those righty hitters.
Yeah, it seems to have been a problem for him so far. So we'll see how he follows up that pitch, as the count is 1-1. Pitch is delivered, and a bunt by Dunn. Is Henry feeling it, but a good bunt there by Dunn, as he's able to beat out the play, as there was actually no throw by Henry. It was a beautiful bunt that bounced all the way to the base path, going from first to second. So really nothing you could do there if you're the Wolverines. So it's now first and third.
Yeah, excellent bunt there from Dunn. I mean, it had just enough on it to get past, to go between the mound and the first base and go past the mound. So Henry had kind of retreat to it, running to his left. Have to wonder if the smarter play would have been to let Akeo Thomas charge it barehanded, though.
Yeah, it seemed like it was almost out of Henry's position, but nonetheless, he was the one who retrieved the baseball. It's now second baseman Alex Arrow taking the first pitch, a ball outside. So it is first and third with one out in the top of the third. The Wolverines do lead 2-0, but Northwestern in a position to do some damage here. So Tommy Henry working from the stretch, a breaking ball that is right over the middle of the plate, and Alex Arrow takes a called strike. So nice pitch there by Henry.
And Henry making his pitches in his first real jam of the game. Runners at first and third with only one out. Have to imagine he's hoping for a ground ball here and trying to pitch him low and do some weak contact.
Yeah, a double play would be ideal. And the ball is chopped right to Akeo Thomas. Gets it out at second. Throw to first is a little wide and unable to come up with the catch is Kerr at first base. So Northwestern gets the run, scoring from third base. That was Charlie Maxwell. But it is Arrow who beats out the throw to first, so it's now 2 outs with a man on first base. And the lead is cut to 1. It's now 2-1 Wolverines. But you said Michigan's hoping for the ground ball. They got the ground ball. It was perfect for a double play, but unable to finish off the double play.
Yeah, Henry did his job there, but that just a little bit too much speed with Arrow running to first, and
yeah,
it looked like Blomgren's throw was kind of rushed, and as Arrow's running and swipes second. Not a bad throw by Donovan there, a little bit wide of Akeo Thomas fielding the play at second, but Arrow steals second successfully. But yeah, Arrow showcasing his speed, both beating out the play at first and swiping second right there. So now Northwestern taking a page out of Michigan's book a little bit, staying aggressive.
Right. And it makes sense for them with 2 outs. May as well try to get a runner in scoring position.
Especially with this lineup that, which, while the top of the order has played well so far, the bottom not doing a whole lot. So trying to stay aggressive with 2 outs right now and get some runs on Henry while he's vulnerable.
Yeah, so it is the DH Sean Gusenberg, who's facing a 1-0 count right now. The 1-0 pitch is on its way and driven down the first base line, and that's going to score Arrow. As that ball goes into right field, it'll be an easy double for Gusenberg, and suddenly this is a tie game.
And Tommy Henry really starting to look vulnerable against this lineup. And you have to wonder if the runner's going on him or just the fact that he got the 2 outs and couldn't get out of the inning is kind of wearing on him as this happening drags on.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier, even when Northwestern wasn't putting runs on the scoreboard, that they were still hitting the ball hard, and it seemed like if they were going to keep doing that, it was only a matter of time until they'd score some runs themselves. So that is what they have done this inning. As now a mound visit for the Wolverines here.
And Tommy Henry giving up strong doubles to almost the same position. Just really hard hit line drives down the right field line that go into the corner for 2 bases. So I have to wonder if that has something to do with his approach.
And obviously a good decision, though, for Arrow to run from first to second, steal that base, because a base hit like that allowed him to easily score and tie this game with 2 outs. So a smart decision made by Northwestern.
And if Michigan's able to turn that double play earlier, then you're not in this position at all. Although I have to wonder, that ball wasn't hit quite hard enough to turn the double play, so you can't really necessarily blame the bad throw by Blomgren.
Yeah, it's hard to say because I feel like even with a good throw, he might have still been safe. As the first pitch to Willie Bourbon is taken for a strike, so Michigan's still in a little trouble here because there's still a man at second after that double. So Willie Bourbon does have a chance to put Northwestern in front with 2 outs. The 0-1 pitch is a breaking ball, but it gets away from Henry and comes very close to the hips of Willie Bourbon, so that's called ball 1.
Yeah, and Henry continues to miss to his left. He's having trouble bringing the ball back over the plate when he's pitching to lefties inside or righties outside, and just keeps missing on that outside edge.
So the 0-1 pitch once again inside, and you just said it, missing to his left, and once again for the second consecutive pitch, he does the same with the fastball. So the count now is 2-1.
And sometimes it's just hard to find your touch and just command a certain area of the plate, and I guess that's what he's struggling with right now. Be interesting to see if he kind of switches up what he's doing later on and tries to keep the balls away to lefties more.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of adjustments he's going to make as the 2-1 pitch is in the zone and fouled off to the right-hand side.
And that looked like it might have been a breaking ball or an off-speed pitch that was breaking outside.
Yeah, it seemed like he was working away from the inside half of the plate.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. There's a runner at second base.
So it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Gustenberg is at second, hoping to score and bring Northwestern a 3-2 lead, but nonetheless it remains 2-2 here with Bourbon facing a 2-2 count with 2 outs.
Really solid in the first, really solid in the second, struggling here in the third. Here's a 2-2 pitch, swung on.
And the 2-2 pitch is fouled back behind the stands on the third base side.
And now all Henry's hard work trying to get out of this inning is starting to come to fruition. This is only a strike away from getting out of this kind of hellish half inning for Henry.
Yeah, if you're Northwestern, you got to think their goal is to at least work up that pitch count, maybe get Michigan's bullpen going as early as possible in this game. As a ball is hit right back to the press box coming our way.
And great play made by a fan in the crowd there, catching the ball in the rebound off the press box.
Yeah, the ball was fouled back right towards us, bounced off the glass, but a good play there by the fan right below us. And it was Gustenberg who's at second who was trying to steal third on that play. But
I really have to question that decision there to try and swipe third. I mean, you're making Henry work so hard. The count's 2-2, so obviously, it's not like you're a full count and you're going to run either way. So don't want to take any unnecessary risks with 2 outs.
It's a 2-2 pitch, and once again fouled down the left field side. But yeah, and you got to think, he's already in scoring position, so most base hits will score the runner. As
one of my favorite baseball fundamental sayings is, you can't never make the third out at third base because you're just running yourself out of the inning when you're already in scoring position. Just no reason to do it, especially against Michigan's best starter.
Yeah, it's something they always told you in Little League too. As Henry working from the stretch, the 2-2 pitch fouled back again coming towards us, and it sounded like it hit the roof of the press box, so we're a little bit in danger here. We got to be aware in this at-bat, but a lot of foul balls going all over the place here by Willie Bourbon, but it's a great at-bat.
Yeah, really making Tommy Henry work hard in the bottom of the third here. Even if they don't attack on any more runs, the score is going to be tied up, and they're going to have a thoroughly exhausted Tommy Henry to deal with throughout the course of the rest of the game.
And so Tommy Henry throwing a lot of pitches, and it's still 2-2. And a check swing, he makes contact, and it's chopped to third base, but Blake Nelson able to charge the ball and throw him out at first and finally get the Wolverines out of that inning. So at the end of the top of the third, it is now the score is 2-2 after Northwestern posted 2 runs there.
third inning. This is
And Henry's got to be really, really excited about that one. I mean, he was able to get him to check the swing, but lucky enough that he made contact just really weakly, and Nelson charged it well enough and made a hard throw to first to get the runner.
Yeah, so after Willie Bourbon was swinging away that whole at-bat, fouling balls left and right, a little unsure of himself on that last pitch with that check swing. And fortunately for the Wolverines, an easy put out to get them out of that inning. And if you're just joining us, you're listening to WCBN Sports, the official student sports radio of Michigan baseball. As Northwestern has now taken the field, preparing for the bottom half of this third inning. It is 2-2 the score. And due up for Michigan are the 3, 4, and 5 spots. It is Clementi who will be leading things off here. And he is 0 for 1 on the day. And on deck will be Miles Lewis, followed by Blake Nelson in the hole. So the Wolverines looking to respond, and they're hoping to reclaim their lead after dropping that 2-0 lead that they built up early.
Absolutely, and Michigan executing a good, smart game plan well. I mean, getting ahead early, but Tommy Henry not able, and the Michigan's defense not able to hold the lead.
So Clementi steps into the box. We have a righty on lefty matchup against the right-handed pitcher Mike Doherty, as Clementi takes the first pitch outside for a ball. And the 1-0 pitch on its way, low and inside, so the count is now 2-0 as Mike Doherty falls behind early in this at-bat. The 2-0 pitch on its way, an all-speed pitch, but it is right in the zone, so a nice pitch there by Doherty. The count is now 2-1. The 2-1 pitch is chopped to the first base side, right on the line. The ump says it's in play, and a nice play there by Willie Bourbon, who throws to Mike Doherty, who covered first base. So it is Clementi who grounds out to first in the first at bat of this inning.
Once again, Doherty doing a really good job fielding his position. And the defense is starting to pick it up a little bit for each team.
And it seems like Doherty's really wasting no time on the mound. I mean, it seems like after every pitch, as soon as the batter's in the box, he's already in the windup of his pitch.
Yeah, he likes to work fast, it seems.
As Miles Lewis steps in and takes the first pitch for a ball inside. Of course, Miles Lewis did get on base last time on an error by the third baseman, Charlie Maxwell. The 1-0 pitch on its way and fouled towards the parking lot on the right-hand side of the stadium. So the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. So the 1-1 pitch on its way and missing inside is Doherty. So now good eye by Miles Lewis. 2-1 is the count, as he is hoping to get on base and try to lead a run for the Wolverines, as a breaking ball is delivered on that 2-1 count and misses inside again. So Doherty missing inside a lot in this at-bat. Now 3-1, a hitter's count here for Miles Lewis. And the 3-1 pitch is a fastball, but the ump says it's a little high, so good patience there by Miles Lewis as he will get on base on the base on balls.
And good job staying patient there once again. It seems like it's been a theme of Michigan's hitting approach today, and really paying dividends in terms of getting good amount of base runners as Blake Nelson steps into the box.
And we'll see if Michigan will have Miles Lewis try to steal second here, as they have been testing the arm of catcher Michael Troutwine for Northwestern. And as for Miles Lewis, he is 8 for 15 on stolen base attempts. But not surprisingly, Mike Doherty is throwing back to first and checking Miles Lewis. as Blake Nelson is in the box after singling in his first time around.
And the Wolverines doing a good job of threatening the steal, regardless of whether they actually are every single pitch with every single base runner, making it tough on Doherty.
And faking a steal is Miles Lewis as Doherty misses inside for ball one of this count. So the count is 1-0. Miles Lewis not running, but the ball is grounded to short on a second for one out. Throw to first is in time. And it is Blake Nelson grounding into the double play to end the inning. So Northwestern with a relatively easy half of the inning compared to their first two against this Wolverines lineup. As we leave the third inning with a tie game here, 2-2.
And yeah, nice. Michigan's lineup not doing Henry any favors, getting out of this inning quickly, not giving him a whole lot of time to rest after that strenuous bottom of the third.
Yeah, I agree, especially after that that last half of the inning when Northwestern was batting last inning. I mean, Tommy Henry had to throw a lot of pitches there. So pretty soon after that, he's already back on the mound warming up. And a great inning for Northwestern. I mean, that's exactly what you want. You tie the game and then within minutes, it seemed like, get out of the bottom half of that inning and come away from the third inning with a tie game. So due up for Northwestern this inning is the fifth spot hitter. It is David Dunn, the center fielder, followed by Ben Dickey, the right fielder, and in the hole is Michael Troutwine, the catcher, who has been very involved in this game so far.
Yeah, he's been a big factor, his defense, just more so than his offense, but really doing a good job of, well, not necessarily a good job, but really becoming a consequence of this game because of his throws to second. It's still going to be something to watch, and in terms of his hitting, we'll see if he contributes more in that way as well.
Yeah, and I was honestly surprised that Michigan didn't try running there with Miles Lewis.
Yeah, I mean, if they at least put the hit and run on, they would have stayed out of the double play.
Yeah, of course you can't predict those things, but we are now in the top of the fourth inning as David Dunn, the center fielder, steps up to the plate. The first pitch of the inning on its way, and once again is Tommy Henry missing in that same spot outside to his right. So the count is 1-0. 1-0 pitch on its way. A big swing and a miss by David Dunn. So count now moves even to 1 ball and 1 strike.
And I think we should see more of that. Henry really going after the hitters he's facing. I'm sure that Coach Bakich and the pitching coach may have told him to go after people a little bit more, rather than pitching around and trying to get strikeouts and forcing him to throw a lot more pitches in each inning.
Yeah, and it's Henry who's aggressive again there with another fastball. So the count is now 1-2. The 1-2 pitch on its way, and a swing and a miss is by David Dunn, who was fishing on a pitch low and away. But a good 1-2 pitch there by Tommy Henry to get the strikeout to start the inning.
And yeah, I mean, Northwestern having trouble with Henry changing elevation, changing the eye level for hitters. And if he really keeps it in the zone and just kind of works up and down, that might be a better strategy for him than going left, right, and missing outside and kind of prolonging innings.
So Ben Dickey, Northwestern's right fielder, is now up to bat as he takes strike 1 in the zone. So Tommy Henry looking good so far in the top half of this inning after he struggled last inning. So the 0-1 pitch is on its way, and showing bunt and pulling back is Ben Dickey. as the ball bounced right before it got to Joe Donovan. So the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike.
The game of the homestand is coming up later on today. It'll be the second game of this doubleheader. And then next weekend, Rutgers comes to town for games 5, 6, and 7 of this homestand. Two Big Ten matchups.
And the umpire talking about someone with Donovan. I guess they're just looking at balls.
Henry with first baseball.
Yeah, and it's Tommy Henry stepping off the mound to gather himself for a second.
Steals on rubber. 1 ball, 1 strike from the lineup.
As the count is 1-1, the pitch is on its way and low and in the dirt as the ball approaches Donovan, so that ball is taken for another ball as it misses the zone, so it's 2-1 to Ben Dickey, who flew out to the center fielder last time. He drove the ball pretty well, but fielding it towards a warning track was Christian Bullock.
Easter Bunny is here. Easter Bunny the other day was at the Easter egg party at Tim Beckner Hall, but Easter Bunny's
So the count is 2 balls and 1 strike.
2-1 pitch.
As the 2-1 pitch is in there, paints the outside corner. Nice fastball there from Tommy Henry. Good location, taken for strike 2.
Yeah, finally got that one to come in, and was able to paint that pitch outside.
So the count even here at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitch from Henry, and a blooper that is fouled off to the right-hand side by Ben Dickey. So the count will remain where it is. And it's a pretty even game here so far. Both teams posting 4 hits each.
Absolutely, and some similar storylines for both teams too, as both are kind of having rallies forming with 2 outs as Henry sends in a pitch that's low and inside for a ball. Both teams, having some kind of disastrous innings where they let things get away from themselves with 2 outs, and the defense kind of fails some good pitching. So, very even so far indeed.
So Tommy Henry struck out the last batter, done, and will look to do the same right now with Ben Dickey, as it is a full count. The 3-2 pitch is flown out to right field, but under the ball is Miles Lewis, who will put him out for the second out of the inning. So a routine play right to Miles Lewis in right field. Tommy Henry gets 2 easy outs after he struggled that last inning.
Dickey making some good contact there, though. Still some hard contact being made off of. Well, not necessarily hard contact. That was more of a weak fly out. That was probably a good pitch, but Henry still seeing his balls driven a little bit.
Yeah, still better to see for Northwestern than if you're just hitting ground balls. As the first pitch to catcher Michael Troutwine runs inside, but just the ball just misses Troutwine, so it goes for a ball. Pretty close to a hit by pitch.
Henry gets a sign from Joe Donovan with deep breath.
The 1-0 pitch as Troutwine shows bunt and pulls back as the pitch misses low and away, so the count is now 2-0 as he falls behind to Michael Troutwine.
And Troutwine, a .255 hitter who started most of the games for Northwestern this season. Gotta wonder if he's just trying to get something going with the bunt. Has been happy with his hitting recently.
Yeah, he struck out his first time around, but now is ahead of the count as he lets another ball go for a called ball, and the count now moves to 3-0. So we'll see if he has the green light or just will wait for Henry to throw the first strike of the at-bat. And the 3-0 pitch is on its way, and it's called strike 1 right over the plate. So it seems like Troutwine was just waiting for Henry to throw that strike. So the 3-1 pitch on its way and misses low, so Tommy Henry frustrated with himself after that as he lets up a 2-out walk to Michael Troutwine. And that'll bring up Leo Kaplan, left fielder.
Yeah, you got to go after the bottom of this order. It's really not the strongest, so no reason to prolong it with walks when you're facing these hitters who aren't necessarily the best.
Yeah, and you got to think it's got to be on Henry's mind that if he retired Troutwine there, then he'd have the 8 and 9 hole hitters to lead off the next inning. So Now the 8-hole hitter is up. It is Leo Kaplan as he fouls the first one. And the count is now no balls and 1 strike.
And Kaplan, a 169 batter on the year, really someone you should not waste any time getting right after.
So the 0-1 pitch bounces away from Donovan, but he's able to get there before Troutwine thought of running to second. So the count is now even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Troutwine not really a threat to run. He has only attempted 3 stolen bases this season, although he has converted on 2 of those attempts. The 1-1 pitch on its way and driven out to right field. Backing up is Miles Lewis, but gets under it at the warning track. So another well-hit ball for Northwestern, as they have been doing all game. But Michigan gets out of that inning with no runs on the board for the Wildcats. So we leave the top of the 4th inning with once again a tie game here. It's 2-2. A good bounce-back inning for Tommy Henry.
And that one sailed all the way out to the warning track. So Henry, I'm sure, just happy to get out of that inning, but not the way you necessarily want to see it end, with your ball sailing all the way out there.
Yeah, especially the bottom part of the order too.
Yeah.
Hitting the ball well off Henry. So Michigan once again with a chance to recapture their early lead. And leading off this inning will be first baseman Jimmy Kerr. And Joe Donovan, the catcher, will be due up second, followed by K.O. Thomas, the second baseman. So Mike Doherty, after struggling the first 2 innings, did seem to settle down last inning. So we'll see if he's able to keep that up.
Yeah, and facing the bottom of this Michigan order, where he's had some success so far in this game, this is probably the best place for him to really get into a rhythm here as we enter the middle stages of this game.
So Jimmy Kerr, the first baseman, is about ready to get things going here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. The lefty having a bit of an advantage here, facing the right-handed Mike Doherty. And Jimmy Kerr is batting .455 in the leadoff position of an inning, so pretty good numbers there, as the first pitch is a strike in the zone. It's the 0-1 pitch on its way. Big swing and a miss by Jimmy Kerr. Jimmy Kerr wasting no time here, but unable to connect on the first 2 pitches of this at bat. He falls 0-2 fairly quickly.
And Kerr, kind of a power threat with 7 home runs in the season.
Jimmy Kerr swinging again, and it's chopped to second base, but struggling with a bad hop was the second baseman Arrow for Northwestern. So it is Jimmy Kerr reaching first base. And we mentioned earlier in this broadcast about the turf maybe being a possible factor here. Of course, the Wolverine fielder is probably more used to it than anyone, but once again, a bad hop. I think that's the 3rd time that Northwestern infielders have struggled with a baseball like that.
Yeah, it's been multiple times where that's come up, and absolutely no excuse for Arrow on that one. I mean, he was playing especially deep. He wasn't even on the dirt. He was back on the grass. And Kerr didn't really make particularly great contact. So, I mean, Arrow had a long time to see that ball coming at him, and it didn't even take much of a funny hop. Just kind of rolled up up the heel of his glove and onto his arms, out of his reach.
So Jimmy Kerr is at first base as Joe Donovan takes the first strike. And Joe Donovan did line out to first base his last time around. He did make good contact on that play, but unfortunately it was right at the first baseman, Willie Bourbon. So he now faces a 0-1 pitch on its way. Breaking ball that breaks inside. And a nice location there by Mike Doherty. He worked the ball. It came from inside towards the middle of the plate, so that's always a tough pitch to read. And Joe Donovan did not bite at that and is now down 0-2 in this count.
And Kerr, not really much of a threat to steal at first. He's only attempted 2 all season. And not really trying to fake much of an attempt at a steal either.
And not too big of a lead as Donovan connects to right field, but a fairly weak hit in the air to right field as it's easy play by the right fielder Ben Dickey for the first out of the inning as Jimmy Kerr stays put at first base. So for Northwestern, they'll take that. The last thing they want is Jimmy Kerr advancing to get into scoring position. So things will stay put here for the Wolverines as Akeo Thomas steps in with 1 out and a man at first.
Especially, and it's going to be crucial here for Thomas to stay patient and not ground into a double play with top of your order coming up with Wogu, who's hot, 2 for 2 today. You want to make sure you don't run yourself out of this inning too quickly.
And faking a stolen base attempt is Kerr at first base, and Akeo Thomas does take the pitch for strike 1.
Yeah, no reason to completely give away the fact that you're not going to run, especially when you're facing a team that's clearly struggling keeping runners from running.
And he's taking a relatively short lead. It really seems like he's not really threatening to steal second base as the second pitch is delivered and Akeo Thomas connects, but it's a pop-up to the first baseman, Willie Bourbon, who's under that one and puts it away for out number 2. As Christian Bullock, the 9-hole hitter for Michigan, will try to keep this inning alive. So after Jimmy Kerr came up as a leadoff hitter and got on base on that error, 2 flyouts for the Wolverines, luckily for Northwestern, keeps Jimmy Kerr at first base with 2 outs. First pitch to Bullock, and he is out in front of that and misses. Looks like he was expecting fastball, a little on his toes on that one.
Yeah, he seemed pretty fooled.
So the count is 0-1. Doherty working from the stretch, and the ball is chopped in front of the catcher. Nice play by Troutwine, who fires to first, wasting no time. And a nice put out there by Troutwine, as that'll do it for the Wolverines in the bottom half of the 4th inning. So we leave the 4th inning, and this game remains tied at 2. And both teams hitless this inning.
And those 3 Northwestern errors looming large for the Wildcats, is they probably, as they would have the lead without those errors.
Yeah. You got to think back to the first inning for Michigan when it was they had the man on third with 2 outs and he scored on an error, an infield error.
Yep.
So absolutely, you have to think Northwestern would have the lead if they did not have those errors.
And as Doherty settles in here, that looms especially large, as he would have had a chance to probably maintain the lead and hold it deeper into the later stages of this game.
So it's Tommy Henry back on the mound warming up as we await the top half of the 5th inning. This game's moving relatively quickly.
Yeah, I mean, as we've seen, Doherty likes to work quickly on the mound, and he's really going after Michigan hitters. And the game's kind of dragging more on Henry's end as he kind of takes his time on the mound and hasn't been locating quite as well today. So the game's moving pretty quickly on the whole, though.
Yeah, and Tommy Henry, I mean, he seemed to settle down a bit last inning. He was missing a lot of pitches to his left-hand side. Seemed like the ball was slipping out at some times, but was able to regather himself last inning. As due up for Northwestern is the 9-hole hitter, Charlie Maxwell, the third baseman, who doubled to right field the last time. Will lead things off. And he now steps into the box, the left-handed hitter facing the lefty, Tommy Henry. And swinging on the first pitch, and that ball gets through the hole between short and third. And it seems like Michigan had a bit of a defensive shift there in the infield. The shortstop, Jack Blomgren, playing very close to second base, so that ball gets through that gap, and he gets into first easily.
Yeah, Nelson was playing in there almost on the grass, and so even though he was kind of shaded towards where the ball was, he just did not have time to react and get to it.
So aggressive approach there by Charlie Maxwell, the 9-hole hitter, and the bottom third of this Northwestern lineup has been doing damage, as it is now the leadoff hitter Jack Dunn, who singled his last time around. He's 1 for 2 on the day. He now steps into the box with a man at first.
The senior from Alpharetta, Georgia, whose younger brother.
So showing bunt and popping it up into foul territory is Jack Dunn, so that will count for strike one.
And an interesting approach from Northwestern here with the bunt. You know, even though they've had this hitter had singled his last time up, I guess they're trying to manufacture some runs against Henry, even though they've been hitting the ball well against him.
So we'll see if he shows bunt again. He does, in fact, but he pulls back and takes ball one as Joe Donovan does throw back to first and checks on the runner Charlie Maxwell, who gets back in time.
Yeah, and
it was called a strike, so it's 0-2.
And just always a smart play by Donovan. With he's got an arm that's good enough to do it. You might as well just keep in the back of your mind that he's well aware of you as a runner.
Yeah, Joe Donovan keeping Charlie Maxwell honest at first, as the count is now 0-2. And Dunn not showing bunt anymore with 2 strikes, probably a smart decision. He fouls off that pitch, so he hangs in 0-2 count, and now a car siren is sounding off.
Those Ray Fisher Stadium sound effects never disappoint.
Jack Dunn is the batter. Maxwell's runner first. Tommy Henry checks him. Now here is the 0-2. High and outside.
And the 0-2 pitch misses up and away, so that ball seemed to slip a bit from the hand of Tommy Henry. But who knows, maybe it was a setup pitch. He might try to work him inside and low.
Yeah, gotta imagine you want your setup pitch to be a little closer than that, though.
Yeah, for sure. As he looks down Charlie Maxwell at first base. And the 1-2 pitch on its way. It is low and inside, but a little too much, and he doesn't get Jack Dunn biting at that one, so the count now moves even to 2-2. So good patience here by Jack Dunn.
Balls, 2 strikes now to Jack Dunn.
So the 2-2 pitch on its way, and a dribbler down the third base line, but it is foul towards the Michigan dugout.
And Henry's come inside on 2 consecutive pitches to Dunn.
Yeah, we'll see if he tries to work the outside zone of the plate now. Of course, Tommy Henry has shown that he likes to work all regions of the plate. It's a 2-2 pitch on its way, and it's popped up to the second baseman, Akeo Thomas. He's under it, and now makes the routine play. So perfect out for Tommy Henry after giving up a leadoff base runner. He is Charlie Maxwell at first, who will stay there after an infield pop-up. And it's now 1 out.
And the speedy Arrow stepping into the box now, who beat out the infield single earlier, or the fielder's choice, rather.
Yeah, so Alex Arrow, the second baseman, will look to at least advance Charlie Maxwell, get him in scoring position, as he faces Tommy Henry with 1 out in the top of the 5th inning. The score is 2-2. The first pitch to him is delivered and bounces in front of Joe Donovan, but no big deal as the ball stays in front of him. So, but nonetheless, it misses for a ball. Yeah, it looks like there's some action in the Northwestern bullpen. None yet for Michigan, but something to keep an eye on. And it is Tommy Henry throwing over to first base to Jimmy Kerr. Keeping Charlie Maxwell honest on the base path. Hasn't shown any signs of attempting to steal yet, but nonetheless, that seems to be on the back of the mind of Tommy Henry. As Joe Donovan sets up inside, and Tommy Henry hits the spot perfectly That ball paints the inside corner, so the count is now 1-1.
And that's a pitch he's been trying to make all day, it seems like. He came inside kind of the same way to the last hitter, and it was called a ball, and this time he gets the call.
Yeah, that's a perfect pitch, too. I mean, you got to think they're going to want to keep it low here, maybe try to induce a ground ball. So the 1-1 pitch is on its way, but it misses outside. Again, it looks like it might have slipped outside of his hand, so the count now moves to 2-1.
And trying to get a ground out, never a bad idea, but it would be hard to double up Arrow, because they couldn't last time.
Yeah, of course, Arrow is pretty fast on the base path. Another throw down to first base from Tommy Henry as Charlie Maxwell slides back in. Of course, that can't be too fun to constantly be sliding on that turf. But nonetheless, he gets back in there. As the 2-1 pitch is on its way, and a nice breaking ball, off-speed pitch that gets Alex Arrow swinging and missing. So the count is now 2-2. But a nice job by Tommy Henry to change speeds there. So now Tommy Henry, the stretch, the pitch, and running is Maxwell as the ball misses low and inside. So Maxwell will get it easily at second as the ball bounced right before it got to Joe Donovan, so there was no throw down to second. So now Maxwell is at second with 1 out and a full count to second baseman Alex Arrow.
That's actually Maxwell's first steal on the season and only his third attempt. So really kind of not something he's normally, not usually a part of his game, but runners taking advantage of Henry. And Maxwell got lucky a little bit there. That Donovan wasn't able to catch that ball.
Yeah, so now Northwestern with a very good opportunity to maybe take the lead here in the 5th inning as another pitch gets away from Tommy Henry, so it'll be a base on balls for Alex Arrow. So it's first and second here with a 3-hole hitter up, Sean Gusenberg for Northwestern with 1 out.
And Gusenberg had success against Henry so far today. Hit the RBI double earlier. This is probably about the worst case scenario for Tommy Henry with 1 out, runners at first and second, and you're having someone who's had success against you coming up.
Yeah, and Sean Gusenberg, having had success with runners in scoring position already this game, now another opportunity with first and second. As the first pitch of the at-bat's on its way, and again, high and outside seemed to be a theme a lot for Tommy Henry. Another ball.
Yeah, his command just looks iffy today.
Yeah. It just seems inconsistent because there's times where he's really aggressive and seems to be hitting his spots, and there's times like that last at-bat where even if he's ahead, he ends up falling behind and gives up a base runner. So the 1-0 pitch misses low and inside, but a good play by Joe Donovan to stay in front of it to prevent a pass ball. So the count now moves to 2-0.
Coming up. 2 balls, no strikes. Kaiser is warming up at this point.
So Tommy Henry stepping off the mound, trying to gather himself as he now finds himself in a bit of a jam.
Here we go. 2 balls, no strikes, 1 out. Runners in second, first and second for Northwestern. Here's the pitch.
And the 2-0 pitch is called a strike inside, so it is now 2-1,
and that inconsistency is just really on full display in this at-bat. Missed outside, inside, and then gets that call on the inner half of the plate.
So some action now in both of the bullpens for both teams. So the 2-1 pitch, he was going for a similar spot there with a fastball, but misses a little too low. So the count is now 3-1, a hitter's count to Sean Gusenberg, the DH.
Michigan defense. Things have really slowed down. 2 runs scored in the 3rd. Now here Northwestern stretching to 4. 2 runs on 5 hits, 3 errors Northwestern, 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors.
So the hitters count 3-1. The pitch on its way, and it's grounded to shortstop. On a second for 1 on the first. The throw is not in time. So Michigan almost getting the 6-4-3 double play, but it is Goosenberg beats out the throw to first, so it's now first and third with Maxwell advancing to third base with 2 outs.
And not much more you can ask for there if you're Tommy Henry, besides getting, short of a double play. It's about the best case scenario.
Yeah, and the execution was there. Good throws all around, but just good hustle there by Sean Goosenberg. But now Tommy Henry, although having a runner at third base and first base, is an opportunity to get out of this inning with 2 outs now on the scoreboard. As Willie Bourbon now steps in, the first baseman.
0 for 6 on the weekend so far here in Ann Arbor for Northwestern's first baseman. Pitch upcoming.
First pitch of the at-bat is taken low and away. And that'll be taken for a ball, but Willie Bourbon 0 for 2 so far. He flew out to right field his first time around, grounded out to the third baseman, Blake Nelson, his second time around.
And Bourbon, one of the home run leaders on this Northwestern team, with 4 in the season.
And a violent swing and a miss by Bourbon. And an aggressive fastball there by Tommy Henry up in the zone. And Bourbon was unable to connect, so the count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
And that's that aggressiveness that's really working for Tommy Henry today. Rather than trying to pick the corners like he seems like he keeps trying to do regardless. When he kind of goes after hitters up and down in the zone, it's really much more effective for him.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like that's been the strategy that's been paying off, as the pitch in the zone is flied out to center field, but backing up in an impressive play is, I believe, Jack Blomgren, the shortstop, who made it all the way out to the block M in center field and got under that baseball for the putout. So Michigan gets out of that jam, and we leave the top of the 5th inning with a 2-2 score remaining, or still a 2-2 score here.
Yeah, and Blomgren backpedaling like a cornerback to get back to the center field block M.
Exactly.
Probably could have left that ball for the speedy Bullock, who was already there, but it worked out regardless.
Yeah, but an impressive effort nonetheless. And for Tommy Henry, the last 2 batters he faced, that was exactly what you want. You want to induce a ground ball, and that was weak contact there on that last at-bat. So we now wait for the bottom half of the 5th inning. If you are just tuning in, you are listening to WCBN Sports Radio, the official student sports radio of Michigan baseball.
And we're going to have a pitching change here for Northwestern.
Oh, yeah, it does seem like that.
Ryan Bader, the lefty, with a 7.14 ERA in the season with 29 innings pitched for Northwestern in 11 appearances.
Yeah, so that'll be it for Mike Doherty, who, after struggling in the first 2 innings, pitched pretty well in the 3rd and 4th.
Yeah, Doherty really settled in there and started to play well. And the final line on Doherty: 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 earned, 2 walks, no strikeouts.
So Ryan Bader now on the mound warming up. He's a left-hander, and will start by facing the right-handed David Dunn in the 5-hole. And on deck will be Ben Dickey, followed by Northwestern catcher. Excuse me.
When I believe
Wogu.
Wogu's leading off.
Yeah. That was the lineup due up for Northwestern in the top of the 6th inning. We were in the bottom of the 5th now, so can't skip any steps in this game, as Jordan Wogu will be leading things off for the Wolverines. And he is 2 for 2 with 2 singles and an RBI, so he's been very active so far in this game. We've seen him on the base path be very aggressive, so we'll see if he can get on base here at the first at-bat of the inning. And swinging at the first pitch and being aggressive as he drives that one up the middle, so another base hit. Make that 3 singles for Wogu.
Jordan Wogu wasting no time there. After they saw a ball that was coming right into the strike zone, it was a little bit low, and he just kind of hit it right back up the middle. making nice contact to single up the middle there.
Yeah, so Wogu with a very impressive performance right now. We'll see if he tries to be a threat on the base path, maybe attempting another steal. We know he's capable of it for sure. As Jack Blomgren steps up to the plate. And he's showing bunt, and it just gets towards foul territory down that third baseline. So we'll redo this play, as that will count for strike one.
And Wogu 80% stealing bases on the season so far. He's 8 for 10. So absolutely a threat on the base paths, although he's facing a lefty pitcher. So a little bit different look for these Michigan base runners right now.
Yeah, of course, the advantage with the lefty pitcher is that you have a pretty good vantage point of what's going on at first base. As the pitcher Ryan Bader looks at Jordan Wogu and will throw to first. So Wogu does get back easily. As Blomgren is 0 for 1 on the day, he did get on base in the first inning when he walked.
He has 25 runs batted in this year. We hit 18 last year, so really
And he shows bunt again, but pulls back as it is a fastball. It's a little too high, but important to note that the third baseman, Charlie Maxwell, was ready for that bunt, charging in.
And Blomgren, one of the most dependable hitters in this Michigan lineup. He's played in almost every single game, started almost every single game, and for good reason.
Yeah, Blomgren, a guy that gets on base a lot. On base percentage at 41%, as he bunts it right back towards the pitcher's mound, and a good play by Michael Troutwine to get there and fire to first. But Blomgren did his job. He advanced Jordan Wogu to second base. So now Wogu, the fast, very fast Jordan Wogu, is in scoring position with one out, and the three hitter up, Dominic Clementi, looking to score him.
Is 0 for 2 after going 1 for 4 in the game yesterday. That one was a big one because he had.
So some early trouble here for Ryan Bader early in his appearance.
With one out, Michigan has Wogu at second base. Clementi granted double play in the first.
And a pretty full crowd here today at Ray Fisher Stadium.
Great day to see a baseball game. Sunny skies, partly cloudy, not too windy, temperature mid-60s.
Yeah, everyone enjoying the weather, and why not? It's the first pitch of the at-bat is a little outside, so good patience there by Clementi to take that for ball one.
Their starting pitcher Doherty went 4 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs. One of those runs was earned, a couple of walks, no strikeouts.
So stepping off the mound now is Ryan Bader. As Jordan Wogu takes his lead off at second base. Shortstop Dunn is eyeing him. Now getting back to position at shortstop as the pitch is delivered and low in the dirt. And that'll be ball 2. So 2-0 now to Dominic Clementi.
And this is a great situation here for Michigan. I'm sure they're pleased with how it's looking. With the runner in scoring position against a reliever who hasn't been particularly effective at all this season, in facing the hardier order, this is really the time to capitalize if they want to try and secure a lead heading into the latter stages of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. Clementi definitely looking to drive this run. The 2-0 pitch on its way. And it looked like it might have been a little outside, but the ump thought it was in the zone, so...
Yeah, and just a really egregiously terrible call by the ump there, if I'm going to speak plainly.
Yeah, from our vantage point.
That was a breaking ball going left to right from the pitcher's vantage point, coming out and kind of sailed out of the zone, broke pretty clearly, not hitting the strike zone, away from the lefty hitter.
And it counts out 2-1, now 2-2 after a foul ball by Clementi. And Clementi did ask for a bit of an explanation after that last pitch, so we'll see if the ump's going to be consistent with that spot.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been calling that all day, especially to Tommy Henry, who was missing outside, or missing to both sides of the plate, but missed out that way plenty and did not get that call. And, I think Ryan Bader has kind of a natural run on his fastball that is making it move left to right every single time, but can't make that call.
So the count is now 2-2, and stepping off the mound and threatening to throw at second is Ryan Bader, but Wogu does get back. So we'll resume things with 2 balls and 2 strikes, 1 out. The score still remains 2-2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. It's Michigan with an opportunity here to strike. A pitch from Bader. It's a breaking ball. And it looked a little high, but swing at it was Clementi, and it's popped up to second. And under that one is the second baseman, Alex Error. So an easy put out for the Wildcats as Wogu remains at second base with 2 outs as the right fielder Miles Lewis, after walking his last time around, steps into the box.
And yeah, and just really not what you want to see from Clementi there, swinging at the high pitch to.
Yeah. I mean, it was a breaking ball. Maybe he thought he would break more and hang in the zone, but yeah, it seemed to not really quite get there. It seemed up at the letters. So just got under that last pitch as Miles Lewis looking to drive in the run and takes a first pitch ball outside.
After Bader came in to start the inning as a reliever for Doherty, Wogu singles up the middle. Blomgren grounds out with the sacrifice bunt, moving Wogu to second base, and then Clementi pops up, so that's where we get.
So 1-0 is the count. And Josh Bader looks to get out of this inning. Or Ryan Bader, excuse me.
Here's the 1-0.
And the 1-0 pitch on its way and hit out to center field. But an easy play for Dunn, as that will do it for the bottom half of the 5th inning. So Michigan leaves 1 man stranded after a base hit in the first at-bat of the inning by Jordan Wogu, but the score does remain 2-2 after 5 innings. And we'll see if Tommy Henry does come back out for another inning of work, as Michigan did have action in the bullpen.
And it looks like it's going to be Ben Kaiser for the Wolverines.
Yeah, it does look like a pitching change.
The 6'3" lefty from Portage, Michigan.
Yep, so the left-handed Ben Kaiser will fill in for Tommy Henry. So Tommy Henry, that'll do it for him after 5 innings. He gave up 2 earned runs, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, and an overall solid performance, but definitely inconsistent between innings.
Yeah, definitely inconsistent from inning to inning, but consistently inconsistent in terms of command, I think I'd say, from Henry. I mean, really Michigan's best starter the whole season, and have to give him credit for that, but he hasn't looked quite as good these last 2 outings. And it's probably something that should concern Michigan a little bit going forward, considering he was such a big part of their early season success. Just like really dominant outings from him to start non-conference play, got this team off to a good start. But it's going to be important for them, for the offense to keep producing and to hold this pitching staff up as the season enters kind of its stride.
Right.
So Ben Kaiser coming in with a 3.0 ERA in 16 appearerances, 1 save, and 14 hits given up, all in 21 innings pitched. So he's pitching a strikeout and inning pace so far this season, so that's going to be something to watch out for.
Yeah, Ben Kaiser posting a 2.74 ERA on the year, so definitely a guy that so far you've been able to trust in the reliever role. So leading things off for Northwestern is the freshman David Dunn, center fielder. He is 0 for 2 on the day after striking out to Tommy Henry his last time around in the 4th inning. As the 6th inning is now underway, the first pitch to Dunn is in there for a called strike 1. Fastball by Kaiser.
So David Dunn, who is 0 for 2 in the contest after grounding out the 2nd and striking out the 4th, is stepping back in.
So Kaiser working from the stretch despite no one being on. And the 0-1 pitch is in there for strike 2 in the inside corner. Great location by Ben Kaiser, so quickly ahead of the count. No balls and 2 strikes to David Dunn.
Yeah, good pitch there by Kaiser, and pitching out of the stretch on every single pitch. And he strikes out the first batter of the inning with a low pitch.
Yeah, so on the first 3 pitches, gets the strikeout. So all those fastballs were very good, very well located by Kaiser, and tough places to hit. So that is Dunn, who is retired on the strikeout, and now Ben Dickey, the right fielder, after flying out to the center fielder and to the right fielder, making good contact so far today, looking to get it, his first hit of the game. And swing on the first pitch does just that, and gets a base hit into right field, bounces before the right fielder, Miles Lewis, who fields it cleanly, but Ben Dickey's been hitting the ball well all game. It was about a matter of time until he got that first hit. He just got it right there on that first pitch.
Yeah, and Dickey finally capitalizing on his hard contact so far. And against Kaiser, who, I mean, looked really solid in that first at-bat.
So now with a man on first, a 1 out, is catcher Michael Troutwine, who steps into the box. Lefty on lefty matchup right here. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses inside. Didn't break just quite enough to get back into the zone. So 1-0 is the count.
And working out of the stretch exclusively has to be an advantage for Kaiser when you get a runner on base. Just more consistency in your approach. As he clips the outside corner for a strike on that first pitch.
Yeah, so it seemed a little outside, but the ump seems to be consistent with that call. We talked about it last inning. He called that outside pitch a strike, so count now is 1 ball, 1 strike to Troutwine.
And the batter is Troutwine. He is facing a 1-1 pitch.
And the 1-1 pitch on its way, but a little low and 2 outside.
Yeah, and that one was just too far outside.
Yeah.
And it looks like he's giving that outside, like you mentioned, looks like he's giving that outside corner to lefty hitters. And you know, when the ump's standing over the right shoulder of the catcher, sometimes harder to be a little more precise with that outside corner of the plate. So he may just be being a little more generous to that side.
So the 2-1 pitch on its way, and the ump calls time beforehand. I guess Troutwine asked for time right before the pitch was delivered, so we'll redo that one as the count remains 2-1.
No throw. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out as we reset.
And the 2-1 pitch on its way and fouled back. So count now even with 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Baseball tossed over to the Michigan dugout, where Jack Bredesen is hanging out in the corner by the coaches.
Michael Troutwine now steps back into the box, looking to advance the runner Dickey at first base. The score is still 2-2. And Troutwine hits a chopper back to shortstop Blomgren, who takes it to second himself and gets the out, but the throw to first is just a little too late as Troutwine beats the throw.
Yeah, and Blomgren falling onto his face on the throw, not quite getting it there in time. Interesting decision to take it himself, and he just barely beat the runner to second. Probably would have been faster to flip it to Akeo Thomas for the turn, but again, not sure. And I mean, they probably would have had him there. It was pretty time-consuming for him to take him to the bag.
I mean, even so, it was a tough ball to be able to turn 2 on because it was chopped very high.
It was chopped very high. He made a good play on the chop.
Yeah, but nonetheless, 2 outs, and now Troutwine will be at first after the fielder's choice. And showing bunt with 2 outs is Leo Kaplan, the left fielder, and he pulls back for the ball.
Kaiser missing badly there and getting rid of the ball. Looks like he thinks the ball is the problem.
So 1-0 is the count after very lively first 3 innings. It's been pretty quiet here ever since. And the second pitch misses low. It's now 2 balls, no strikes.
And Dickey is absolutely a threat to steal at first. Oh, actually, it's Troutwine at first now, rather. And,
right after the fielder's choice.
And Trout Wine not a threat to steal at all. So probably a better scenario for Kaiser to deal with.
Yeah, that's a trade-off they'll take, as the 2-0 pitch was fouled back towards the parking lot. So 2-1 now is the count to Leo Kaplan, who is 0 for 2 on the day. He flew out to right field his last time around in the 4th inning. And showing bunt again, he bunts it right back to Kaiser. And good play by Kaiser as he fields it, turns around, and fires to first for out number 3. So a pretty easy inning for Kaiser in his first inning of work here as reliever in the 6th inning. So we leave the top of the 6th with still a tie game. It's 2-2, and if you're just joining us, you're listening to WCBN Sports Radio, the official student sports radio of Michigan baseball. And to recap a little bit here, Michigan scored 1 run in both the 1st and 2nd innings to get an early 2-0 lead, and then faced some trouble in the top half of the 3rd, where Northwestern did come back and tie this game back up at 2, and what's been a pretty even game all around. Both teams with a similar amount of hits, Northwestern with 6, Michigan with 5. Of course, for Northwestern, it's been the errors that have been haunting them from the fielding standpoint.
Absolutely, yeah. Fielding being kind of an issue for both teams so far today.
Yeah.
And it's going to continue to be important as we head into the last 3 innings of a tie game. Both teams, kind of producing somewhat offensively. 6 hits for Michigan for Northwestern to Michigan's 5. But that the fielding will continue to be a storyline for the game as close as this.
So the reliever Ryan Bader for Northwestern is back out for his 2nd inning of relief here, after doing a pretty solid job in the bottom of the 5th inning. And he will have to face Blake Nelson, who will be leading off this inning, followed by Jimmy Kerr and the catcher Joe Donovan, who are the other 2 batters due up this inning. As is now Blake Nelson taking a couple warm-up swings before stepping into the batter's box to get things going in the bottom half of the 6th inning. So now righty versus lefty matchup with the lefty pitcher Ryan Bader. Blake Nelson is a .346 hitter in the leadoff position. He did get a single in his first at-bat of the game, but grounded into a double play his last time. So looking to make solid contact here as he took the first ball, and that was called a ball outside. And the 1-0 pitch is grounded to first, an easy play for the first baseman, Willie Bourbon, and a pretty weak dribbler there by Blake Nelson on the 2nd pitch of the at-bat.
Yeah, not a great one to swing at there. I think, as I mentioned earlier, it looks like there's some natural run on Ryan's fastball, and the ball must have just came in on Nelson's hands, because it sounded like he made pretty weak contact.
Yeah, it sounded like he might have been a little jammed there, as Jimmy Kerr now steps into the box. 0 for 2 on the day. And swinging at the first pitch and fouling it straight back to the netting is Jimmy Kerr.
Yeah, and Kerr had to uppercut on that one to even make contact.
Yeah.
Really just chasing a high ball there.
Yeah, another pitch up at the letters that he was chasing.
Lefty versus lefty matchup. Bader lines and fires the 0-1 to Jimmy Kerr.
And swinging again at the 2nd pitch, and he fouls it back.
Yeah, once again, foul tipping another high ball he shouldn't have chased. They kind of running left to right as it kind of scrapes the top of the zone.
Yeah, so Jimmy Kerr with an aggressive approach right now, but because of it, falls behind 0-2. And trying to get him fishing low and away is Ryan Bader, but it's Kerr who's not biting on that one. So the count's now 1-2.
Blake Nelson grounded out to Bourbon, the first baseman. Jimmy Kerr now with an out, trying to get the rally started.
So Jimmy Kerr behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Working from the stretch is Bader. The off-speed pitch paints the corner outside, and rung up is Jimmy Kerr. So Ryan Bader with great location on that changeup, and it just looks like Jimmy Kerr was not even thinking about swinging at that pitch. Was a little surprised to see that being a called strike.
Yeah, another one of these Bader pitches that kind of tails out of the zone at the last second, and then the ump just calls it regardless.
Yeah.
To a lefty.
So the catcher, Joe Donovan, with 2 outs and no people on base, swinging at the first pitch. So a lot of Michigan batters right now swinging very early in the at-bat, wasting no time.
Yeah, pretty stark departure from the earlier approach to the game when there was a lot of patience going on and Michigan was getting base runners, regardless of how deep in the inning it was.
Yeah, so that last pitch was fouled towards the parking lot, so it's 0-1, and swinging again is Joe Donovan, and that's fouled off towards the Michigan dugout. So once again, Ryan Bader quickly jumps ahead in the count, 0-2. So Ryan Bader showing some good command coming out of this Northwestern bullpen. The 0-2 pitch jams Joe Donovan, but luckily for him, the ball travels out of play towards that first base side. So Joe Donovan swinging at all 3 of the pitches has come his way.
And it must be something about Bader's balls that just looks hittable.
Yeah, it must be. I mean, Michigan's lineup is usually a pretty patient lineup too, and again, Joe Donovan's fouling off a pitch, so he's faced 4 pitches and he's swinging at all of them.
Continues to battle out there, foul ball after foul ball, staying alive, trying to see if he can't spark some sort of a Michigan rally here in the bottom of the 6th inning.
So the count remains 0-2 with 2 outs. The score remains 2-2 in the bottom half of the 6th inning.
This time, his Bader pitcher gets his sign from Trump Wine's catcher here.
And the 0-2 pitch on its way. Great contact as the ball is driven to left field and fielded by the left fielder Leo Kaplan, but Joe Donovan with the 2-out base hit. And a good piece of hitting there. Great at bat, staying alive after falling behind 0-2 and finding a nice pitch to hit with the K.O. Thomas coming up, the 8-hole hitter.
And it looked like one of those high balls just got barely low enough, and Michigan hitters who have been kind of been chasing that ball have been missing it recently, and that time he really got caught up to it and was able to make solid contact.
Yeah, Joe Donovan really turned on that one. So now at first base, K.O. Thomas, who is 0-for-2 on the day. In the 2nd inning, he flew out to the right fielder and then popped up to first baseman in the 4th inning, so he takes the first pitch for a strike.
Kids keep filing in. I bet you they get pretty excited about what's going to happen between the games.
So the count is 0-1, and good contact by Thomas, but a nice play by the shortstop Dunn to field the baseball. David Dunn able to make the play and throw out Joe Donovan at second, so that'll do it with the force out. So after 6 innings, the score remains 2-2. We had a very lively game from innings 1 through 3, a lot of runs being posted. But ever since then, innings 4 through 6 have been pretty quiet. A lot of good defense, a lot of good pitching, as both relievers for both teams, Ben Kaiser for Michigan has been doing a great job, and of course the reliever for Northwestern coming in and pitching 2 great shutout innings, making it easy on this Northwestern defense as the score remains 2-2. And as for Michigan, it seems like Kaiser is coming out for another inning of work after a shutout inning the last inning with a strikeout, so he will be facing the 3rd baseman, Charlie Maxwell, to start the inning, and then you have the top of the lineup for Northwestern. But it's interesting because the bottom half of the lineup has been doing some damage themselves. Charlie Maxwell is 2-for-2 with a double and a base hit. So for Michigan, they'll try to keep this game tied, try to take a lead in the bottom of the 7th, but not a lot of action lately going on in this game as the crowd becoming antsy for some runs. And again, if you're just tuning in, you're listening to WCBN Sports, it's official student sports radio of Michigan baseball. again, this is game one of a doubleheader after Friday's game between these two teams was postponed due to bad weather. It was very cold, which is why the game wasn't played, as Charlie Maxwell now steps into the box for a lefty v lefty matchup. And a nice pitch by Kaiser. Good location on that fastball. Paints to the outside corner for strike one. So Kaiser working from the stretch. 0-1 pitch, off-speed pitch, a little low and outside. So good patience by Maxwell to hold off on that one, as the count is now 1 ball and 1 strike. So the 1-1 pitch on its way and back up towards the middle, but it is Blomgren who was set up towards the middle and makes the out, as he was playing pretty close to second base. So even though that ball is right towards second base, he was there pretty easily and threw out Charlie Maxwell for that first out. So a good sign for Kaiser as he resumes from where he left off last inning in the top of the 7th. A quick put out for the first out of the 7th inning, as shortstop Jack Dunn steps into the box. He's 1 for 3 on the day. And the first pitch is low and away. So Jack Dunn not even thinking about going for that one. So the 1-0 pitch inside and in the zone, says the ump. So the count now moves to 1 ball and 1 strike. Ben Kaiser's ERA now down below 2.6, so exactly what you want to see for a Michigan reliever. The 1-1 pitch is fouled towards the backstop, and the count is now 1-2 in favor of Kaiser. So the 1-2 pitch is fouled towards the parking lot, so takes a bounce, and I don't think it hit any cars, luckily for all the fans in attendance here. So the count remains 1-2 to shortstop Jack Dunn. A 1-2 pitch on its way. It's a curveball that didn't seem to break as much as Kaiser wanted. It also seemed to slip out of his hand a bit, so a little outside to move this count to 2-2.
Yeah, there's no way he intended that location. Just seemed to fly way too far out, and Donovan had to reach for it.
So Kaiser working from the stretch, and the delivery, Jack Dunn pops it up to shortstop Blomgren. So Blomgren making the first 2 outs of this inning. A lot of action there at shortstop. And I'll tell you what, Blomgren's been pretty impressive at short today. I mean, he had that one play where he went all the way to the block M in center field for that. I think it was 1st and 3rd with 2 outs, and he made that play to stop Northwestern from scoring.
Yeah, some impressive range being shown by Blomgren, and pretty good arm there as well. Only flaw I've seen was the bobble. I believe there was a bobble at one point, and he wasn't able to turn 2, but I think that play wouldn't have been made either way.
And the first pitch to Alex Arrow is driven out to center field, but he gets a little bit too under that one, so Christian Bullock will take care of that for the putout. And a pretty easy inning, 1-2-3 inning for Michigan, as they lead the top of the 7th inning with no damage from Northwestern. So the score remains 2-2. And once again, a quiet inning as Ray Fisher Stadium takes a break for the 7th inning stretch. Classic baseball tradition.
Nothing like a 7-inning stretch on a beautiful day of baseball, that's for sure. And Michigan showcased its good defense, and Kaiser was really aggressive in a efficient and productive way in that last half inning, going after hitters and getting the quick outs with 2 flyouts and so.
Yeah, relievers for both teams have been doing a great job. Kaiser for Michigan, Bader for Northwestern, who now comes back for his 3rd inning of work for the Wildcats. And leading off for Michigan will be Christian Bullock, and then after that you have the top of the order, so you got to be thinking Michigan can put themselves in an opportunity to score some runs here.
Yeah, as we enter the final third of this game for Michigan, it's going to be important to score some runs here so they have a lead towards the end of the game and can shut it down.
So the crowd a bit re-energized after that 7th inning stretch, and we're ready to get things going here in the bottom of the 7th inning with Christian Bullock stepping up into the left-hand side. Excuse me, the right-hand side of the batter's box. He is a lefty. So the first pitch, and he shows bunt and pulls back as the pitch is low and away, so
Bullock likely trying to use his speed to drag bunt his way on.
And Bullock is 1 for 2 with a single early on this game. He did score in the 2nd inning, so as the ball gets away from the catcher Troutwine, so the count now moves in favor of Bullock, 2-0. Bullock is a 429 leadoff hitter, so even though he's only batting 250 on the year, he seems pretty comfortable in this position to be leading off an inning.
Yeah, it must be something about having no one in front of you that just, I don't know, allows you to work efficiently, and
yeah,
Michigan would sure like to get the leadoff man on here.
As the pitch is right down the middle, and Bullock won't bite at that, but is taken for a strike. It was a 3-0 count, so he was just waiting for the pitcher Ryan Bader to throw one in the zone. So now it's a hitter's count. And a ball that bounces before the catcher Troutwine. It gets back toward the backstop, but it is ball 4. And Troutwine gets to the ball before Bullock can think about going 2. And so it's Bullock who leads off the inning with a walk, which is exactly what you want if you're the Wolverines. And now you have the top of the lineup, and Jordan Wogu, who's been on fire today, 3 for 3. He's been everything that the Wolverines hoped he could be today. Now steps up to the plate, and he's showing bunt, but he's also a guy that could bunt for a single, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
Wogu goes through with that.
Wogu could very easily beat this out and put 2 runners on, no out for Michigan. And no better way to increase your chances of scoring than a leadoff walk. So Michigan in a great position here to regain the lead.
So before any pitches are thrown to Wogu, it is Bader who's checking Bullock at first, as Bullock gets back in time. And the first pitch to Wogu is driven towards the third base line, but the ump says it is foul.
And Maxwell diving for it there.
Yeah, that ball was ripped by Wogu, and if it was called fair, that would have been dangerous for Northwestern, but luckily for them, the ump says it is foul.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it might have even been fair for a second based on the way Maxwell reacted, but luckily for Northwestern it wasn't, as the ball did get past Maxwell, diving to his right to make the play.
Yeah, and Bader once again checking Bullock at first base. Bullock does have 8 steals on the year. He did get a steal earlier in the game. And for the second time in a row, it's Bader throwing back to Bullock again. So the third time in this at-bat, he's checking Bullock. And the count is still 0-1 to Wogu. The score is still 2-all in the bottom of the 7th inning here with no outs. And the 0-1 pitch is an off-speed pitch that misses up and away, so Wogu won't bite at that. It's 1-1.
Big imposing bat, plus really athletic, slide down the line. Holds his hands pretty low until the pitch is thrown, and then he pulls them back. And he gets them cocked and ready for a hit.
So the count is 1-1. Working from the stretch is Bader, but he misses away again. So Jordan Wogu now ahead in the count, 2-1. And I mean, Michigan, you got to think Michigan sees this as a real opportunity to strike. It's been a long time since they've put themselves in a position to get some runs in.
Absolutely, and it's all a product of their patience. You know, getting back to that patient approach allowed them to work the leadoff walk, and then Wogu here was able to get back into a hitter's count after starting to 0-1. So really just patience being the key for Michigan's success today. Really work. All the offense is having a lot more opportunity when that happens.
As the 2-1 pitch to Wogu is fouled away towards the bullpen of Northwestern. But yeah, you talk about the different approach. I mean, last inning you saw Jimmy Kerr and Joe Donovan swinging at honestly almost every pitch that came their way, which seemed uncharacteristic of this Michigan lineup.
Yeah, chasing a lot of high balls and for swinging strikes and also pop-ups. Just really not a smart way to try and get runners on and plate runs late in this game.
And throwing towards first again for the 4th time this at-bat is Bader. So Bullock on his toes this entire at-bat as the count remains even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wogu is 3 for 3 on the day. And the 2-2 pitch is driven out towards center field. Backing up is the center fielder, Dunn, who makes an incredible catch over the shoulder towards the warning track. What an incredible effort by Dunn. So Wogu robbed there on a great piece of hitting. So it is Bullock who has to go back to first after that.
And that's got to be a real disappointing blow for Michigan. With the way that ball came off Wogu's bat, you had to imagine it'd be at least a double.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was going to get over Dunn's head, but just a really great hustle play by him to range back to make the catch with the almost fully outstretched arm. Really athletic and possibly run-saving with the speedy Bullock.
Yeah, you got to think with Bullock at first, he was thinking he would have had an opportunity to go home if that ball was going to the wall. So Bullock remains at first with 1 out as Jack Blumgren now steps into the box.
And all of a sudden, a light at the end of the tunnel for Northwestern as a ground ball gets him out of this inning.
Yeah. So Blumgren takes the first pitch and chops it foul back towards the Michigan dugout. But yeah, just another great piece of hitting by Wogu that last at bat. Just a little bit unlucky, but he's been making solid contact the whole game.
The game is tied at 2-2. Michigan looking for their 2nd win of the series and their 3rd win in 3 games in this homestand. Coming off of last week's trip down to Columbus where they lost the first 2 games but won the last one. Trying to extend their winning streak. 4 games. 0-1 pitches outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
And that 0-1 pitch from Ryan Bader was outside to Blomgren, low and outside. Count 1-1.
So Bullock still at first base. Ryan Bader has been pretty solid so far, looking to get out of this. As the 2-1 pitch is just a little high. Or excuse me, the 1-1 pitch is now 2-1.
Michigan, however, obviously looking to do something a little bit different than that. 2 balls, 1 strike, 1 out. Bader, set. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low.
And the 2-1 pitch is low and inside, so smart by Blumgren to not be chasing at any of that.
Once again, Michigan hitters working their way back into the count after Blomgren started 0-1 after chasing that bad pitch to start the at-bat. He's battled back to a really great hitter's count and a good chance for Michigan here at 3-1.
Yeah, Michigan right now being rewarded by its patience. As the 3-1 pitch is in there for a strike, and on the steal attempt is Bullock, but a throw was mishandled by the second baseman Arrow, so the The ball goes to center field, and it's Bullock who gets all the way to third. So that's the second time Bullock has able to get to third on a bad throw by. Well, I wouldn't say that throw there was so bad by Trotwine. I think that was more on the fielding at second base. But
absolutely, that's what I was going to say. Is that Arrow really takes the blame for that one, as the Northwestern infield is in against Blomgren with Christian Bullock at third.
So the full count and an off-speed pitch that's hit to second base, but unable to come up with it is Arrow. So scoring from third is Bullock, and Blomgren gets to first. So now Michigan reclaims the 3-2 lead with one out on the bottom of the seventh.
And we said it might come down to fielding, and it might, as Arrow commits the 5th Northwestern error of the day, and possibly his second of the inning, I believe.
Yeah.
So Arrow, you add one R, and you've got error, and he's made 2 of them this inning.
Yeah.
As you know, they brought the infield in to not concede the run, which was an interesting move. Makes sense late in the game, late in a tie game. But against the speedy Bullock, they actually might have had a chance at him at home because they brought the infield in. But that ball was just hit too hard by Blomgren, and Arrow not able to contain it, allowing for the run to score. So, but I was going to say on that Trotwine throw when Bullock stole, that was not a bad throw, I thought. Probably his first throw of the game.
No, it seemed online.
It seemed online and actually into the runner, so he probably would have had a good shot to tag it if Arrow could have just contained that throw. So errors looming large for Northwestern here as Michigan regains the lead in the bottom of the 7th.
So Michigan re-energizes the crowd at Ray Fisher Stadium as they reclaim a lead. 3-2 in the bottom of the 7th, so now batting is Dominic Clemente, who is 0 for 3 on the day, but now Michigan looking for some insurance runs as we get late into this game. And this ball is fouled on the left-hand side past the Michigan bullpen. He made good contact on it, but a little late on that one. So 0-1 is the count. Northwestern staying with Ryan Bader after that mound visit.
Ball's 1 strike, 1 out. Michigan has a runner at first base. Bottom of the 7th inning, they have reclaimed their lead, 3-2. Bader goes over.
So Bader throwing over to first, checking on Jack Blomgren. As the sun starts to creep back in here in Ann Arbor.
Clemente digs back in, 0 for 3 in this contest. A double play and a couple other outs as well.
And working from the stretch is Bader. The 0-1 pitch. A nice off-speed pitch right in the zone, taken for a strike. So now Bader ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes.
And Clemente taking that pitch, he must have thought it was going to come inside. It was going to stay inside, but it just ran back out over the plate for a strike.
Yeah, definitely was not expecting that pitch. As the 0-2 pitch on its way and driven out towards the left field side, but foul past the Michigan bullpen. So Clemente a little late on these swings, but making good contact nonetheless.
And Blomgren at first looks like he was about to run. He took off for second but stopped, so it may have been a fake steal attempt.
Yeah. Blomgren only 3 attempts for stolen bases on the year, but has stolen successfully on 2 of those as they throw back to him at first.
A couple of stolen bases on the year. Not a super threat, but he does have a couple of steals for the season over there.
So the count remains 0-2 to Dominic Clemente with Miles Lewis on deck with 1 out. And Blomgren's going as Clemente swings and misses. And what a throw by Troutwine as they call Blomgren out at second. And Blomgren's not happy about that call. He wants an explanation from the second base umpire, Stephen Linton. But that'll do it for the inning.
Well, you can't argue your way into a better jump, so I guess. I don't know what to say about that except for the fact that just not a great jump, and Blomgren not the speediest guy out there, and Troutwine finally showing he can catch some runners at second. And maybe Michigan will be a little more conservative with their base running going forward.
Yeah, we said in the beginning of the game we'd expect Michigan to keep testing that arm until Troutwine proved he could throw guys out at second. And those last 2 throws have been basically on the money.
Yeah, really excellent throws and a good tag by Arrow there.
Great job by Troutwine. As seems like we have a pitching change for Michigan. It looks like pitcher Willie Weiss.
Yeah, it's 6'3", 205 righty from Portland, Oregon, Willie Weiss, who got the save last night against Northwestern. So he'll be in the game.
So he will come in for Michigan as we wait for the 8th inning. And if you're just joining us, you're listening to WCBN Student Sports Radio, the official student sports radio of Michigan baseball. As due up for Northwestern this inning will be the 3, 4, and 5 spots, Sean Gusenberg, followed by Willie Bourbon and David Dunn.
And Weiss coming in a little earlier than he does often. He has 7 saves on the year, so he's much more commonly used in that kind of save scenario by Coach Bakic. But they come in a little bit earlier. Maybe Coach wants to give him a little more low leverage time. A few innings, maybe hopefully a little less stressful innings for Weiss after he got saved last night.
So Michigan looking to hold on to a 3-2 lead.
Weiss, wearing number 20, the right-hander, has a 3.24 ERA and 25 innings pitched on the season.
So now stepping up to the box is Gusenberg, Sean Gusenberg, the DH, who is 1 for 3. He did have that RBI double earlier in the game. But it looks like on the first pitch, Gusenberg was hit. It was a righty-v-righty matchup, and the pitch was a little too inside, so Gusenberg will go to first, and Joe Donovan seems to be a little shaken up, grabbing his ribs, but seems to be all right.
Yeah, and that Weiss pitch
deflected off of Gusenberg and hit Donovan.
Yeah, and that Weiss pitch was very off.
Yeah.
Just pretty much nailed Gusenberg in the back, and Weiss getting off to not so good of a start as he puts on the first base runner, and the leadoff man is on for both Michigan and Northwestern in this. I guess he passed 2 half innings.
Yeah, so Willie Bourbon is now up for Northwestern. He's 0 for 3 in that cleanup spot, so this is a good opportunity for him to get things going. Of course, interesting to note that the outfield's playing pretty deep for him. Near the warning track, all 3 of them. And
yeah, that's a good observation. Interesting observation there, and yeah, you're right, he's showing bunts even though the outfield's been pushed back so far.
Yeah. Willie Bourbon coming into this game with 4 home runs in the season, so not necessarily a power hitter, but definitely capable.
Yeah, and the wind blowing looks like it's blowing in a little bit,
yeah,
if not horizontally at the moment, so I'm not sure how much of a factor that would be. But Weiss has given up only 4 homers in the season and struck out 32 while walking only 13. So really, Weiss has been really effective so far this year and getting a lot of his outs through the K.
So Weiss on the 1-1 pitch. It's a check swing by Bourbon, but the home plate umpire says it's a strike anyway, so the count moves to 1-2.
So we see out in the bullpen for Michigan, Joe Pace doing some of the initial warm-ups that Michigan pitchers go through. My guess is only get an appearance if Michigan puts up a bunch more runs in the bottom of the 8th inning.
So now with the man at first and no outs in the top of the 8th, Michigan looking to hold on to that 3-2 lead. 1-2 pitch to Bourbon, and it's a punch-out. Painting the outside corner is Willie Weiss, and down goes Willie Bourbon on a strikeout looking for the second out of the inning, or first out of the inning, excuse me.
And there's Weiss showing that strikeout potential right there. Really great pitch to paint the corner and get the out. Gusenberg was faking steal that looked like there. He's kind of dancing off the plate, but not a huge threat with, although he's 9 for 9 stealing the season.
So the first pitch to David Dunn is fouled back towards the backstop for strike 1.
David Dunn is a redshirt freshman, really is a true freshman from Portland, Oregon, 6'3", up to 5 pounds. Changed his arm slot where he threw the ball from and added.
So the count is 0-1.
And went from throwing in the high 90s.
Willie Weiss is ideally he'd be hoping for a ground ball here to end this inning. As the second pitch of the at-bat misses low and inside, so 1-1 is the count. Good patience there by David Dunn, who has struck out his last 2 times at the plate in the 4th and 6th innings. He is 0 for 3 right now.
And Weiss has got to be licking his chops looking at that.
And running is Goosenberg, but the pitch is fouled towards the Michigan dugout, so the count is now 1-2, and Goosenberg will have to trot back to first base, but he's showing that speed. He's definitely a threat on the base path.
Yeah, he's definitely a threat. He really got there fast. Got all the way down to second pretty quickly and probably would have stolen that had the ball not been fouled off.
Yeah, so it seemed like the play call was a hit and run for Northwestern, but the foul ball, of course, was not planned for. So the count is 1-2. Let's see what they do here as Willie Weiss throws back to first base, and getting back there is Goosenberg. A pretty quick pickoff motion by Willie Weiss. Of course, he is a righty, so he's not looking directly at first base. 1-2 pitch from the stretch. Willie Weiss delivers, and the pitch is fouled back, so the count will remain as it is.
And the count's in Weiss's favor. He should look to stay aggressive here and maybe try and get him to chase.
Yeah, we'll see where Joe Donovan sets up in this pitch.
And he's setting up low, it looks like.
Yeah, low and inside is the call, and a little too low and inside is the pitch from Weiss, so now the count is even at 2-2. Goosenberg still at first base. Goosenberg is running the 2-2 pitch. Another hit and run that is hit foul, so the count remains 2-2, and it was well hit, but he turned on that ball a little too quickly as he pulled it past the third base line. So back to first is Goosenberg, who's been back and forth between first and second a lot this at-bat.
Yeah, he's been doing quite a bit of running back and forth as he's been waiting to steal, and gotta wonder if he's going to go here again.
And Goosenberg faking a steal in a strike 3 will retire David Dunn, a swinging strike 3. So good comeback there by Willie Weiss after letting up base runner. So he gets 2 strikeouts with Willie Bourbon and David Dunn. So it's now 2 outs. Michigan's still up 3-2 with a man on first. And batting for Northwestern is Ben Dickey, who's 1 for 3. And now Goosenberg was almost halfway down the base path between first and second and changed his mind. And it was Joe Donovan who tried to get him at first base but just got back in time.
Yeah,
a heads-up play by Donovan.
Must have realized what a poor jump he had gotten and ran back as fast as he could. Donovan almost getting successful with the back pick there.
Caleb Thomas playing very close to that second base bag, so we'll see. Looks like Michigan's expecting another steal attempt maybe. Sometime this at bat as the 1-0 pitch is in there inside corner for strike 1, so 1-1 is the count. So Goosenberg still at first base and throwing back to first base in a pretty close play on the pickoff motion, but Goosenberg just back in time, and there's some excitement in the crowd here at Ray Fisher Stadium. A lot of Michigan fans here thought that.
Yeah, all the Michigan fans and myself thought Kerr might have had him. I was a little surprised by that call, but it looks like it probably was the right one.
Yeah.
But at first it seemed close.
And a big swing and a miss on the 1-1 pitch by Ben Dickey, so the count is now 1-2. But yeah, I mean Willie Weiss, the right-hander, is not facing the first base bag, but very quick pickoff move.
Really quick pickoff move, and it looked like he deceived Goosenberg, who had thought he was starting his motion. So he charged towards second and then had to turn around real quick.
So now the count is 1-2. Goosenberg's going again. It's another hit and run that's chopped to the third baseman, Nelson. The throw is in time. A great play by Nelson, who's fielding that ball, running towards second base. And that'll do it for that half of the inning as Michigan leaves the middle, or goes to the middle of the eighth with a 3-2 lead still, looking to add to that in the bottom half of the inning.
Good job there by Nelson fielding that ball as that on the bounce and making the throw on the run to Kerr at first. Able to nab the runner by about a stride and getting out of the inning successfully. I mean, Weiss rather did a good job ignoring the runner on his way second with 2 outs, and Michigan's defense held up there.
So now duo for Michigan. The bottom half of the inning will be Miles Lewis in the cleanup position. He's 0 for 2 right now, but looking to change that. And then Blake Nelson and Jimmy Kerr after that will be due up.
So, and it looks like Bader is staying out there to pitch, so we'll have some familiar matchups coming up as well.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. The starting pitcher for Northwestern, Mike Doherty, pitched 4 innings, and now it's Bader, the reliever, looking to come out for his 4th inning and pitch the same amount. So, of course, it's nice to have a reliever that kind of stamina.
Absolutely. And there's action in the Michigan bullpen now, as I can't make out quite who it is, but a right-hander is getting loose in the pen.
So now, bottom half of the inning is ready to get going as Miles Lewis, the right-handed right fielder, is stepping into the box. He's 0 for 2. He walked in the 3rd inning, but besides that, he flew out to center field last inning. And taking the first pitch, a good eye, the ball was low, so 1-0 is the count.
So Michigan, Northwestern pitches as a total 7 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, only 1 of them earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. This is the 31st batter of the game. Michigan will reach. Here's the 1-0 to Lewis. That ball popped up and out of play.
And the 1-0 pitch is popped up and out of play, so the count is 1-1.
Lewis, who reached on there in the first, walked in the 3rd, and flew out in the 5th, is 0 for 2, batting .290 on the season. Nelson's on deck. Jimmy Kerr's behind him.
So 1-1 is the count to Miles Lewis. And the 1-1 pitch is just a touch outside, so 2-1 is the count. A good eye there by Miles.
1 for 8. So you know these guys would love to get a little bit going here and give Michigan some insurance runs. As we have some warm-ups going on in the bullpen right now. This is purely if there are insurance runs.
And the 2-1 pitch on its way, and it looked a little inside, but Miles Lewis was swinging at that one and coming up empty.
Yeah, that one just missed his bat. It looked like it broke in as it was falling as well, and just fooled Lewis as he swung over it.
So now Miles Lewis facing a 2-2 count. Pitch on its way, low and outside, and good job by Troutwine sliding his feet to get there. But the count is now full. No action in the Michigan bullpen. So it seems like they'll stick with Weiss. As the 3-2 pitch is on its way and chopped to third, and a great play by Charlie Maxwell at the hot corner there. A high bounce on the turf, and was able to get that and throw from one knee.
Yeah, fielding it well on the backhand was Maxwell there, and just making a strong throw as soon as he stood upright. Really double clutching or hesitating for a moment, just making a strong throw on target, and Urban didn't even have to move. Some great fielding there cleared by Maxwell.
So 1 out right now for the Wolverines as Swanson steps up to the box, and the first pitch is inside and taken for a ball. One pitch on its way, swung on and missed by Blake Nelson. So 1 ball and 1 strike now to Blake, as Jimmy Kerr is on deck.
Ball, 1 strike went out. Jimmy Kerr on deck. Michigan lead 3-2. Here is the 1-1 pitch.
1-1 pitch is grounded on to first base. Nice play there by Willie Bourbon for the routine out. So 2 ground balls will result in 2 outs for the first 2 Michigan batters of this inning, as Jimmy Kerr now looks to keep this inning alive.
And Bader in a groove here in the bottom of the 8th. Really starting to pitch effectively and get some quick outs against the middle of the Michigan order. So
and Bader doing a really nice job out of the pen. Unfortunately for him, he hasn't been getting any run support from the offensive side from Northwestern, as that first pitch to Jimmy Kerr is low and away for ball 1.
And in this contest, that we're used to seeing, especially at home. But part of that, you've got to give credit to Northwestern pitching. They've done obviously a solid job doing that, but you also have to recognize that your 2 best batters are
and the 1-0 pitch is a breaking ball in the zone, but just getting under that is Jimmy Kerr, as the second baseman, Alex Arrow, is under that and will put it away for out number 3 of the bottom of the 8th inning. So after 8, it is Michigan who retains their 3-2 lead. They're up 1 and are looking to close things out here in the top of the 9th inning.
And that explains why Weiss came in last inning. He's came in to get the 6-out save, it appears. And can't blame Bakic for that, just making that decision based on the way he's pitched today. Really pitching efficiently and aggressively to get some quick outs in the 8th, and see how he fares against the bottom of the Northwestern batting order in the 9th.
Yeah, Willie Weiss will be due to pitch against the 7 through 9 hitters at least in this Northwestern lineup. So Michigan looking to close things out in game 1 of a doubleheader between Michigan and Northwestern in this Big Ten baseball matchup. And not a lot of offense in this game. Again, after those first 3 innings, both teams still with 6 hits apiece. Only 3-2 right now. Of course, their first game, the final score was 4-1, so seems to be a theme.
Yeah, not a lot of high-scoring games against this Northwestern team, and makes sense when you look at how their relievers pitched. You know, Bader really settled in well, and so it seems as if even though you know, I was expecting not quite as good of a performance from Bader based on his ERA and what we knew about him based on his stats, but it seems like this Northwestern team can depend on his pitching to be dependable at times.
So Willie Weiss back out for his 2nd inning of work, facing the catcher Michael Troutwine, who takes the first pitch low for ball 1. Troutwine grounded into a fielder's choice the last time. And the 1-0 pitch is in there, fastball. Well located for strike number 1.
And that one really was looked like it might have been on the black. It might have even been inside a little bit, but got the call.
An aggressive approach there by Weiss as he fires another fastball, but this one gets away a little bit outside, so he falls behind 2-1.
Yeah, and Weiss has come out firing, throwing a lot of heat early in this top of the 9th.
Weiss working from the windup. And the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed on the off-speed pitch. He seemed to be out in front of that was Michael Troutwine. The count is now 2-2. Good pitch there by Willie Weiss to change speeds.
Great job changing speeds by Weiss. He was bringing the heat through the first 3 pitches, and then just took something off of it for that last one. And it paid dividends.
Troutwine absolutely fooled on that last one. The 2-2 pitch on its way. Another off-speed pitch. And it was pretty close to the outside part of the zone, but the ump says it's a little too far outside, so the count now runs full of 3-2.
Yeah, real close call, and Donovan held it there trying to frame it, brought it in a little bit, but just couldn't get the call.
So now 3-2. And ringing him up is the umpire, Robert Lothian, as Weiss battles back with a fastball and goes right to Michael Troutwine with the fastball, and he didn't even bite at that. And Weiss gets him with the strikeout.
Yeah, impressive job by Weiss here. He changed speeds, then got the swing and the miss, and then painted with the fastball on the inside corner to get that out.
So now left fielder Leo Kaplan with 1 out in the 9th. Or excuse me, we have a pinch hitter here, Jack Kelly, hitting for Leo Kaplan.
29 at-bats. Here's the first pitch to Kelly. That one misses, ball 1.
So Jack Kelly is a lefty, so he gets a little. You got to think that they selected him to pinch hit, considering that Weiss is a righty on the mound as he takes the first pitch.
And Kelly having a not so great season so far, batting .241 and 29 bats with 6 walks.
So the count is 2-0 after he holds off on the next pitch. Willie Weiss now with 3 strikeouts in an inning and a third pitched. And he comes back with a fastball right there in the zone as that's a called strike 1.
Yeah, no question why Northwestern's manager decided to go to Kelly here. He's a patient hitter, and Northwestern's doing anything they can to get on base.
So the 2-1 pitch is fouled back.
And the swing by Kelly evens the count.
So the count is even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Willie Weiss looking for another strikeout here. Here it is, 2-2 pitch. Fastball swung on into shallow center field. And calling off the shortstop Blumgren is center fielder Christian Bullock, who gets there.
Once again, Blomgren backpedaling really far to make that play, and almost tripped at the end there. So it was a good thing that Bullock waved him off, taking priority as a center fielder with the ball in front of him.
Yeah, definitely easier for the center fielder to run towards that ball than to have the shortstop run and make some over-the-shoulder catch. I mean, we know Blumgren's capable of it.
Yeah, no need when you're up 1 in the top of the 9th, trying to get the second to last out, and then setting up for a win.
So now top of the 9th, 2 outs. Willie Weiss looking to close it out here against Charlie Maxwell, who is 2 for 3 on the day. He doubled in his first time around, singled in his second. Of course, grounded out to the shortstop in the 7th inning. So the first pitch was called ball. Now swinging and missing at the second pitch of the at-bat is Maxwell. So the count is now back to 1 ball and 1 strike. A lot of energy now coming from the crowd here at Ray Fisher Stadium. Willie Weiss now with the windup, the 1-1 pitch on its way. Another swing and a foul. Weakly hit back towards the backstop is now 1-2. And the Ray Fisher Stadium crowd in Ann Arbor is cheering on these Wolverines as they're looking to close out a hard-fought effort. So they currently are up 3-2, 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs in the top of the 9th to Charlie Maxwell. The delivery from Weiss is a little low, bounces right before it got to Joe Donovan. Didn't get Maxwell fishing at anything in the dirt, so the count is 2-2.
And good decision by Weiss there to try and get into chase when he's ahead in the count. Now that it's even, we'll see what he tries and does to close it out here.
So the crowd making some noise for Weiss. The 2-2 pitch on its way, and rung him up as the umpire, Robert Lothian, and that'll do it. Charlie Maxwell is down on strikes, and what a performance by Willie Weiss to come in and just absolutely dominate from the relief position for these Wolverines, as the Wolverines will take game 1 of this doubleheader against the Northwestern Wildcats 3-2 in a hard-fought victory.
Yeah, and no question why Bakich turns to Weiss in these close situations. He can get strikeouts like nobody's business, and did that here today with 4. Really great performance from Weiss, getting his 8th save of the season, and his strikeout to walk ratio just keeps looking better and better. He's now got his 36 strikeouts in the season, and to only 13 walks. So really effective option for Bakich late in games, and he showed why today.
Yeah, so what started off as a very high-scoring game ends in a 3-2 match for the Wolverines. Of course, it was 2-2 after 3, and then pretty quiet until the Wolverines took the lead in the bottom of the 7th on a Blumgren when he reached on a RBI error.
Yeah.
So whatever it takes for the Wolverines, you know, they get the 3-2 lead.
Absolutely, and the 5 errors
close
by
it out.
Northwestern seem like the story of the game for sure. It seemed like they had some problems fielding on the turf, and kind of took their toll. And now, Northwestern having a little bit of a team meeting out there in right field, regrouping before the second game of our doubleheader today, and interesting to see a lot of the stadium leaving as we do have a second game coming up here. Not sure exactly how long it'll be, but
Yeah, the listed time was 2:30, but it is now 2:39. I imagine they'll leave some space in between for field maintenance, whatever needs to be done in the dugouts. But nonetheless, Michigan taking Game 2 against Northwestern after winning yesterday 4-1. They win today 3-2. So for those of you that tuned in for today's broadcast, myself and Owen Swanson, we'd like to thank you for joining in. And it is Michigan who wins by a final score of 3-2 in Game 2 of this series against Northwestern.
Yep, absolutely. Great effort by Michigan, and they'll try and do it again coming up here shortly.